Chapter 584. Feng Xianxia had seen how good his stamina was, so she did not ask further. "It's in my pocket. Get the key yourself," Tang Yan said to Feng Xianxia as he drove. Feng Xianxia glanced at his lower body. Although she blushed, she did not hesitate and put her hand into his pocket. "The medicine box is in the drawer in the bedroom. Get the medicine yourself." "Got it." When she finished speaking, Tang Yan stopped the car by the roadside. They had reached a safe place. Feng Xianxia pushed the door open and got out of the car. Her face was extremely pale without a trace of blood. Tang Yan did not leave immediately. He watched Feng Xianxia get into the car before he turned around. Mu Qiqi saw that Tang Yan quickly caught up with them. She asked, "Xianxia went back?" "Yes," Tang Yan answered. "I'll go and see her when I come down later. She doesn't have any friends or relatives around her. She's so pitiful," Mu Qiqi said deliberately. Tang Yan did not say anything. He walked in front of everyone. Mu Qiqi looked at the man's back. He wanted to know if he did not care about Feng Xianxia at all. In fact, Tang Yan was really a smart person. He knew very well that Mu Qiqi was just saying it. She would not really go to Feng Xianxia's house. If she wanted to ask, she could just call her. Why did she have to do it herself? They walked up the mountain and first visited the 6 families on the mountainside. These 6 families were very obedient. Almost all the old people were at home. How could the young people stay there? However, what was strange was that there was a statue that looked like a Buddha statue at the bottom right corner of the door of each family. It was obvious that they were very obsessed with the Buddha. After another hour of walking, they finally reached the top of the mountain. The temple is at the top of the mountain. A police officer pointed at the top of the bluestone steps and told Tang Yan and the others, "You go and visit the other 6 families. We'll go to the temple to have a look," the captain ordered. Tang Yan and Mu Qiqi followed behind the captain. However, the closer they got to the temple, the more Mu Qiqi felt creeped out. It was because the murals on the walls of the temple were the tattoos on the bodies of the 2 deceased. She walked further into the temple. There were a few Buddha statues inside. They did not seem different, but Mu Qiqi found it strange. Very strange. "Qiqi, what did you find?" "The function of these murals here is not to bless but to curse. I believe that the deaths of the 2 victims must have something to do with these murals. Is there any abbot or administrator in this temple?" "They've already gone to ask." The captain replied, "You guys keep looking around. It wasn't easy for you to get here, so try not to miss any clues. This place is weird. There's a weird smell. Do you smell it?" Mu Qiqi subconsciously looked for the source of the smell. Everyone nodded in agreement. They followed Mu Qiqi to look for the source of the strange smell. In the end, they found a cellar by the side of a road. The cellars here are usually used to store food. It's possible that this is the smell of rotting food. Oh. Mu Qiqi shook her head. "The food is rotten. It's impossible to smell blood." Everyone became alert when they heard that. 2 of the police officers opened the wooden door of the cellar and walked in carefully. Then they ran out with the stench. It might be the scene of dismemberment. There are broken bones and some body parts. Now the police were all busy. They had to collect evidence, take fingerprints, take photos, and conduct interviews on this mountain. There are so many broken bones at the scene. And judging from the wounds on the bodies, it should be something like a saw. Mu Qiqi said to the criminal investigation team, "You guys can look around and see if you can find the murder weapon." 3 o'clock in the afternoon in the CEO's office of Zhongting. Xianxia raised his hand to look at his watch from time to time. He thought that the little one was just joking. When the secretary saw him looking at his watch, he guessed that his CEO must have an appointment with his wife. Otherwise, the CEO would not look at his watch more than 3 times in such a short time. But poor CEO. He might be stood up today. After thinking for a while, the secretary knocked on Xiao's door. "Yo, this is a gift from the great designer." "Give it to me," Xiao said without looking up. "This should be their wedding ring." But if the little one did not come, she could forget about the wedding ring. This was something he had personally watched the designer design. This was the only time in his life. At 4:30 in the afternoon, Mu Qiqi hurried to Zhongting. But Xiao was in a meeting. When the secretary saw her, she said to her, "Madam, do you want to take a shower and change your clothes? There are clothes for you in the CEO's office. They are specially prepared for you." "Don't worry about me. I'll take a shower myself," said Mu Qiqi. Xiao probably knew that she would smell everywhere she went. That was why he made such preparations. Her man's meticulousness was really off the charts. Mu Qiqi entered Xing Zhao's lounge and hurriedly took a shower. When she dried her hair and came out, Xing Zhao was still in a meeting. Mu Qiqi thought for a while and sat on the CEO's seat. Only then did she realize that the cufflinks she had given Xing Zhao were still in the most conspicuous place. It was so ugly and childish, but he was not afraid of being laughed at. Thinking about it, she did not seem to have given Xing Zhao anything else other than the cufflinks. So she planned to make a good one that could be put on the table and make her husband happy. When Xing Zhao came out of the conference room, he found a certain someone sleeping on his desk. The secretary was afraid that she would catch a cold, so she wrapped a blanket around her, afraid that the CEO would scold her if she did not sleep well. Seeing that Mu Qiqi had fallen asleep, Xing Zhao did not wake her up. Instead, he squatted down and looked at her red and swollen feet. No matter how comfortable the shoes were, they would wear down the feet after too much exercise. This little one really did not know how to be lazy. Behind Xing Zhao, the secretary was stunned. Who would have thought that the CEO who could summon wind and rain in the business world would look like this when he returned home? Xiao, I didn't mean to be late. Seeing that she was still raving, Xing Zhao smiled and stood up. He said to the secretary, "Give me the information. Don't let anyone in to disturb me." Got it, Zio. On the other hand, Mu Qiqi slept until 7 in the evening. In a way, she was accompanying Xing Zhao. Chapter 585. Xiao Xiao. Mu Qiqi sat up. I fell asleep. Xing Zhao put down his phone and looked at her. You didn't just fall asleep, huh? I didn't do it on purpose. We agreed. You've been talking in your sleep for the whole afternoon. If someone comes in and hears you, they will think that my woman has some weird habits. Xing Zhao stood up and put on his coat. What did I say? Mu Qiqi stood up as well, only to realize that she had taken Xing Zhao's seat. Idiot. Xing Zhao scolded her and wrapped the coat around her. Let's have dinner outside tonight. Okay. Mu Qiqi nodded and wrapped her arms around Xing Zhao's waist. I ran down from the mountain, which is more than 2,000 meters high. I didn't mean to be late. Why don't I ask Su Che to send someone up to install a cable car? No need. Mu Qiqi smiled. I don't think I'll go up. I'm so hungry. Take me to dinner, honey. Really? Yes. Mu Qiqi did not know whether to laugh or cry. Although she knew that her man was rich, he should not play like this. At the same time, Tang Yan rang the doorbell at home. But no one answered the door. After a while, Tang Yan saw the note on the door. I'm going to the police station. Call me if there's anything. You didn't reply to my message, so I guess that you're busy. A person who was not feeling well went to the police station. Thinking of this, Tang Yan drove to the police station. Feng Xianxian was still in the laboratory. Why are you back? The professor did not know why Tang Yan came back, so he looked up and asked him curiously. I can't sleep, so I came to see if you can help me, Tang Yan answered mechanically. There's nothing that I need your help with. After this experiment, Xianxian and I will get off work. Help me send her home. I called her to come here. Got it, Tang Yan said in a muffled voice and walked out of the forensic lab. Although Feng Xianxian's hands were full, she could not help but laugh when she saw that the man was so tired but still came out to look for her. About 10 minutes later, the experiment was over. Feng Xianxian changed her clothes and walked out of the forensic lab. She walked to Tang Yan and said, Let's go. Get yourself a key. Tang Yan stood up from the chair, his expression cold. If you think it's too much trouble, I can hide the key in my house and you can get it yourself. Is it so difficult to make a key? Tang Yan turned around and asked. I don't want to have to return the key in the future. Tang Yan stopped talking and continued walking in front of Feng Xianxian. After they arrived home, Tang Yan went straight to the study, leaving Feng Xianxian alone in the cold living room. Therefore she immediately raised the fire. That night the two of them did not speak to each other. Tang Yan did not walk out of the study. When he left, he did not wake Feng Xianxian up. Everything was the same as before. Even though they were very familiar with each other's bodies, Feng Xianxian was the one who made the choice to not have feelings for him. After Tang Yan left, she made herself a sumptuous breakfast. It was because she knew that Tang Yan did not have the habit of eating breakfast. It was fine now since he was still young, but what about in the future? Therefore she did the extra work and brought him directly to the police station. You brought breakfast? Can you even eat a corpse? The professor couldn't help but laugh at her. Forget it if you don't want to eat it. Feng Xianxian said. I'm just teasing you. I've eaten. I'll bring it to Tang Yan. This child never has the habit of eating breakfast. Let him have a taste of your cooking. If Mu Qiqi was here, she would definitely laugh at her. But she knew that Mu Qiqi was not here today because she had promised Xiao that she would practice self-defense today. Mu Qiqi was the favorite. Wherever she went, she would be protected by a large group of people. Why would she need to practice self-defense? The person who should practice self-defense the most should be her. But Xiao was not at ease. It was reasonable. After all, she was his favorite. Moreover, she had done such a tiring and dangerous job. No wonder Xiao wanted to test Mu Qiqi's fitness. I'll stuff Tang Yan's mouth in the future. The professor rushed out and came back with a smile. Xianxian, your cooking is not bad. Who wants him to eat it? Feng Xianxian rolled her eyes. She did not want anyone to see anything unusual between her and Tang Yan. I don't care. He ate it anyway. The professor chuckled. Feng Xianxian did not say anything and continued to work. At this time, Mu Qiqi met her self-defense coach. The man of her family came to the training ground to keep an eye on her. She would learn well, okay? She would not fish in troubled waters. So, what are we going to learn today? We'll learn wrestling and sanda. After that, we'll add judo. Sanda is mainly for subduing and judo is for defense. After learning these, it won't be a problem to deal with ordinary people. Mu Qiqi listened to the coach and nodded. No matter what it is, I can do it. Because she needed to become stronger. Only then would Xiao be at ease. Then today we'll practice some basic skills. Coach, do you know how to catch people? Mu Qiqi asked. It's best to go through a professional school and learn it for a long time. It's a test of wrist strength. It's usually used by the police to subdue the enemy with one move. It's very limited and not practical for you, the coach answered. Then I'll listen to your arrangement. Mu Qiqi was undoubtedly able to endure hardship. She did not have the pampered air of a rich young lady. When she was thrown or trampled on, she could still get stronger and stronger. This made Xiao's heart ache when he saw it, but he did not let his heart soften. Sometimes he hoped that she would be strong. Sometimes he wished that she was just a 17-year-old Mu Qiqi hiding behind him forever. This kind of complexity, perhaps, could only be understood by others when one loved someone deeply. This morning, Mu Qiqi was thrown around by the coach. But she suddenly realized that she actually liked this kind of exercise. As for Xiao, after returning to Zhongting, he told his secretary, from now on, free my weekend mornings. Only by experiencing it herself would she know how painful it was to hit Mu Qiqi's body, and how it felt when she fell. Mu Qiqi needed to do these training and he needed it too. Jingyun had been by his side for more than 10 years and left in the end. Su Che would also have such a day. In the hospital it was just afternoon. Grandpa Xing was lying on the bed. He felt good and suggested that he wanted to go home to recuperate. He felt that staying in the hospital was too uncomfortable. The doctor did not agree, so he had to stay in the hospital for at least half a month. Grandpa Xing remembered that it was Xing Zhao's order, so he did not argue. Chapter 586. Gu Xiling had already figured out the housekeeper's family background and schedule. Now she was just waiting for an opportunity to have a good talk with the housekeeper. So she behaved herself every day and looked harmless. But the more she behaved like this, the more Hu Ran suspected that she and Sheng Kai were planning a bigger conspiracy. Sheng Kai was now at ease as his vice president. In terms of interpersonal skills, he was much smoother than Xing Bowen. So it wouldn't take long for those who were disappointed in him to think that he was bewitched. They wouldn't think that it was a problem with Sheng Kai's ability at all. Looking at Xing Bowen's management style now, he was really too idealistic. It was impossible for him to understand the needs of the people in the company. So Sheng Kai was able to win more support. Of course, there were still some people in the company who supported Xing Bowen's way of doing things. CO, the vices are having dinner together again. Aren't you going? The secretary that Sheng Kai had hired to seduce Xing Bowen had now become Xing Bowen's spy. Really? Then they really eat together frequently. Although Xing Bowen's words were sarcastic, he did not have any intention of stopping them. Because when it came to a person who was not on the same path as you, even if you tried to curry favor with them and scheme against them, it would only end in failure in the end. Worse still, you might be killed when the rabbit is dead. Aren't you angry at all? What's the use of being angry? Our views are different. There's nothing to care about. If he can really take back the position of CEO from me, I won't have any complaints, said Xingbowen. Just wait and see. I will let these people know that they are wrong about me. Compared to Xing Kai, Xingbowen was more broad-minded and tolerant. Even if he knew that there were so many jackals, wolves, tigers and leopards around him, he had never thought of eliminating them one by one like Xing Kai. Because he knew that such people could never be eliminated. There was no way to guard against them. The only way was to conquer them. With all due respect, you should also care more about your grandfather. I care about him very much. He can understand my feelings, said Xingbowen. The secretary chuckled and shook her head. I'm not saying that you are not sincere. I'm just afraid that someone will take advantage of you. I know, said Xingbowen. He could not be like Xing Xiao, who could calculate everything perfectly. But he also knew how to speculate and prepare for a rainy day. Although deep in his heart he really did not want to be the person who schemed against his brother. But on the other hand, would Xing Kai show mercy to him if it were him? The secretary did not say anything else. Xingbowen also lowered his head to read the important documents of Huang Yao. But at this time Hu Ran suddenly came to the company. Seeing this, the secretary immediately said, Madam, please wait a moment. Xingbowen saw Hu Ran and immediately smiled. Why are you here? I don't have anything to do in the hospital, so I came to see you, Hu Ran replied. Second sister-in-law takes good care of Grandpa. No one else can do anything about it. Don't worry. Grandpa can tell who's loyal and who's not. It's not fake. He can see through everything, Xingbowen said. Let's have dinner together tonight. Okay, you go ahead with your work. I'll walk around your office. I haven't been here before. Hu Ran looked around the office. This used to be Eighth Brother's office. I think it's a good place, so I moved in. All the furnishings you see now were made by Eighth Brother back then. I haven't touched them, Xingbowen explained to Hu Ran as he picked up the documents. That secretary of yours seems quite pretty. Xingbowen laughed when he heard this. Second brother and second sister-in-law specially prepared this for me. Of course she won't be bad. Hu Ran's expression changed when she heard this. Why did you keep her? It's fine as long as I know what kind of person I am. Could it be that Xiao Ran is jealous? Xingbowen probed. I don't like to be jealous. I've already made it clear to the secretary. The reason why I kept her is to prevent second brother from sending more sinister people over. At least this secretary still has a conscience, Xingbowen explained to Hu Ran. I didn't keep her because she's beautiful. What are you explaining to me? Hu Ran's expression was a little unnatural. Here, I agree. I'll let her. No. Since you've explained it, I'll definitely believe you. If you send her away now, what if your second brother sends someone more ruthless and vicious to you? What should you do then? Keep her. Hu Ran quickly stopped him. Not angry? Hu Ran laughed. If you're really a reckless person, you'd have countless women around you. How can you still be pure? Xingbowen coughed lightly and gestured for Hu Ran to stop talking about this topic. Recently, second brother and second sister-in-law have been so normal that it's unbelievable. So, you should pay more attention to second sister-in-law's actions at home. Grandpa told me about the will. I'm afraid that they'll have other thoughts. I know. Hu Ran nodded. Xingbowen couldn't help but lower his head and kiss Hu Ran's lips. Hu Ran's face turned red and she glared at him. Go to work. Don't be serious. I have to work hard because I'm preparing for a big move. There were too many vice presidents in the company. It was time to clean them up. That afternoon the police were still going up and down the mountain. Because they didn't see the management of the temple before, they only heard that the person had come up the mountain at night. The police immediately took action, but found that the abbot only had one right hand. According to the people on the mountain, the abbot had hurt his hand while working in a factory. Later he came up the mountain to manage the temple. Not only that, the head of the management was not very smart. From the looks of it, this murder should not have been committed by him. If it was not him, then who could it be? The 12 families on the mountain were all old people. How could they take 2 young people to the cellar, dismember their bodies and dump them? Most importantly, the murderer did not leave any clues or fingerprints. Not even the fabric of the clothes could be found. If it was not someone with anti-investigation awareness, how could it be done to this extent? Obviously, the residents on the mountain were not the murderers. But the real murder must have something to do with the temple. Otherwise, how could the tattoos in the cellar be explained? It's so annoying. Every time I want to go to the crime scene, I have to go up the mountain. It's so tiring. The police officers started to complain. Did the murderer do it on purpose? Chapter 587. But Tang Yan did not look at her. His temperament was cold and his eyes were sharp. No one knew what he was thinking. Xianxia thought that with his figure and temperament, people would believe that he was a murderer working undercover in the police station. Can you smile when it's appropriate? Xianxia moved the corner of her mouth and asked Tang Yan. There's nothing worth smiling about. Xianxia was speechless. I think I might fail my course just because you look so cold. Then don't look at me. Xianxia was speechless. Sure enough, she could not expect too much from this man. I'm going home. Xianxia took off her gloves and glared at Tang Yan. You still want to stay here, right? Tang Yan looked at her and paused for a moment before saying, there are many things to do in the police station. I understand. Xianxia nodded and did not hesitate. She packed her things and walked out of the police station. She still had to go to school tomorrow to revise for the exam. Tang Yan watched her walk out of the police station. It was such a cold day. After thinking for a while, he chased after her and gave the car key to Xianxia. Help me drive the car back. Don't you know how to drive it yourself? Xianxia rolled her eyes. There's a car in the police station. Although Xianxia was reluctant, she still took the car key from Tang Yan. She had driven a sports car, but she had not driven an off-road vehicle yet. Thinking of this, the gloominess in her heart was swept away. When Tang Yan returned to the police station, he was laughed at by his colleagues. Officer Tang, why didn't you send the girl back? What if she encountered danger at this time of the night? Tang Yan glanced at him and asked directly, why didn't you send her back? Look at what you're saying. If I could be like you, tall and strong, capable of both literature and martial arts, I wouldn't need you to tell me, right? The man laughed. Officer Tang, you're such a workaholic. Tang Yan did not say anything. How could others understand his actions? Even Xianxia herself thought that Tang Yan simply wanted her to drive the car back to the hotel. After arriving home, Xianxia parked the car and opened the door to go home. Xianxia was suddenly stunned because she felt that she had gone a little too far by occupying the nest of others. She drove the car and had the keys. They had agreed that they would only be bedmates and nothing would change. Why did she feel like she was the mistress of this place now? She then looked at her own house. Although it was cold and cheerless, it seemed like that was her home. Xianxia did not understand. She did not think too much about it. She took a shower and put on the robe she brought over to sleep. Tang Yan returned home in the wee hours of the morning. He did not expect that he would wake Xianxia up, or rather she was not a sound sleeper. Did the police send you back? Yeah. Tang Yan nodded. But I don't hear the sound of a car outside. Xianxia continued. I'm going to take a bath. Tang Yan could not be bothered with her. He went straight to the bedroom to get a change of clothes. Workaholic. Xianxia looked at the wall clock on the wall, turned over on the sofa and continued to sleep. Anyway, she felt that Tang Yan was strange in every way except for his good body. Was it because he had been single for a long time and developed a strange habit? However, she did not give up on herself just because of one person. Tang Yan entered the bathroom and saw the green plants on the bathroom door. He frowned subconsciously because he did not like to see these things in the bathroom. But obviously it was Xianxia who put them in. So he went to the study. The next day when Xianxia woke up, she was preparing breakfast. But it was rare that Tang Yan did not go out. She thought that Tang Yan was Superman. However, he did not rest at home. Instead, he wore boxing gloves and punched the sandbag in a separate training room. Why can't you sleep? I thought you would go out at this time. Tang Yan ignored her and continued to practice. Xianxia looked at Tang Yan's smooth back and saw crystal beads of sweat sliding down his body. At that moment she felt hot all over. Damn it, she had an urge. I'll go out soon. To prevent herself from drooling at the man, Xianxia quickly turned around. I made breakfast for you on the table. Although the professor said that you don't have the habit of eating breakfast for the sake of your stomach, I think you should consider eating it. After that, Xianxia went out. When Tang Yan heard the door close, he stopped and took off his gloves to go to the dining room. Looking at the breakfast on the dining table, he sat down, picked up the milk and took a sip. However, after just one sip he spat it out. But at this moment Feng Xianxian came back. Because she did not bring the documents. Seeing Tang Yan vomiting on the floor, she frowned and walked over, but Tang Yan stopped her. Why are you still here? What's wrong? Feng Xianxian asked. I'm sure I didn't poison it. Or are you lactose intolerant? But even if you're not tolerant, you can't just eat it and spit it out, right? It's none of your business, Tang Yan said calmly. I'm just allergic to certain things. Feng Xianxian was speechless. But I saw you drink milk in the afternoon. So, I think you have a phobia about breakfast. Feng Xianxian glared at him. Is that why you don't eat breakfast? Mind your own business. After saying these words, Tang Yan went to the bedroom. Feng Xianxian crossed her arms and was a little unhappy. Hey, at least wipe the floor before you go, right? This person was definitely traumatized. Feng Xianxian was almost sure that he vomited the breakfast that the professor stuffed into his mouth yesterday. Although she complained, Feng Xianxian still wiped the floor before leaving the house. Living under the same roof as a weirdo, would he be infected as well? Feng Xianxian did not think too much. She only knew that the exam was coming. Although Mu Qiqi did not want to fight for first place, she still wanted to see who was better between her and Mu Qiqi. After a while, Tang Yan came out of the room. When he saw the sandwich that Feng Xianxian had made, he did not take another bite and put it in the fridge. He had tried, but after so many years he still could not accept it. It was the second class in the morning in Xingting University. Feng Xianxian was sitting in the classroom absent-mindedly. When she saw Mu Qiqi enter the classroom, she asked her, "Qi, let me ask you. What kind of trauma does a person have to go through to make him hate eating breakfast and even vomit his stomach out after eating it?" "Who are you talking about?" Mu Qiqi asked a nosy question. "Who else can it be? That person with low EQ." Feng Xianxian pouted. "You guys." Chapter 588. I think that if Officer Tang's condition is so serious that he's going to throw up after eating, then this incident must have hurt him a lot. So, if you're just trying to find out more about this incident, then I think you should stop. No one likes to be paid attention to like this. Mu Qiqi said to Feng Xianxian. Besides, although you don't feel it yourself after spending so much time with those rich kids, you have the potential to play tricks on others. Feng Xianxian pushed Mu Qiqi away and glared at her. You don't understand me. I don't understand you. Since you care about Officer Tang, why are you beating around the bush? That's because you don't know how dangerous he is. Feng Xianxian thought to herself. Forget it. The exam is in 2 or 3 days. I must win against you. As she said that, Feng Xianxian leaned on Mu Qiqi. However, Mu Qiqi pushed her away. It hurts. Did you really go yesterday? Of course. Mu Qiqi sighed. I feel like I was run over today. I can't even stand up. I thought you would just act coquettishly. Mu Qiqi did not answer Feng Xianxian's question. Because she knew that no one would understand how serious she was when it came to Xianxia. Feng Xianxian did not ask further. When it came to relationships, the two of them had never been the same. We are opponents. Don't hang on to me so easily. Mu Qiqi reminded Feng Xianxian. Look at the surprised faces of others. If Mu Qiqi was said to be an iceberg genius in school, Feng Xianxian was another extreme. It was a well-known fact that they did not get along. Nobody knew what happened between them in the past 6 months. They were supposed to be the strongest opponents. Why did they shake hands now? Then I'll hang up when I go to the lab tonight. At noon, the hospital was very quiet. Gu Xiling was accompanying Grandpa Xing in the hospital. The butler and Hu Ran happened to bring lunch to the hospital. Usually, the butler and Grandpa Xing were inseparable. It was not easy to find a chance to talk to the butler. After taking care of Grandpa Xing for lunch, the butler was cleaning up the tableware. However, the old man said that he wanted to eat the pastries made by the kitchen at home. The butler had always taken good care of him, so he promised him that he would go back and ask the chef to prepare. Anyway, Hu Ran had to take care of him in the afternoon so he could leave. Seeing this, Gu Xiling immediately said to the old master, "In the afternoon, Kai asked me to deliver something for him. Since third sister-in-law is here, I can leave without worry." Second sister-in-law, you're not the only one who knows how to take good care of Grandpa. Hu Ran rolled her eyes as if she was worried about leaving Grandpa Xing to anyone else. I didn't mean anything else. Gu Xiling explained before packing her things. She waited for the butler to leave for a while before leaving. It was only when they reached Xing Mansion that Gu Xiling quickened her steps and stopped the butler. "Butler, I have something to tell you." "What does second young mistress want to say to me?" "Why didn't you say so when master was here just now?" the butler asked. "I don't mean any harm. I've heard about your son. I know a very good lawyer who might be able to help you. This is his business card. As long as you tell him that you're my friend, he will help you." The butler took the business card from Gu Xiling. His expression changed. "Second young mistress, if you really want to help me, then I'll thank you. But if you have any ulterior motives, then I'm sorry, I can't accept your help." "Butler, are you going to watch your son suffer?" "I'll take care of my family affairs. You don't have to worry about it, second young mistress. I'm in a hurry." "Second young mistress, I won't accompany you anymore." Gu Xiling watched the butler walk away. She clenched her fists. She really did not expect that the old butler was so stubborn. His son was in such a crisis, but he still did nothing? Later, Gu Xiling told Xing Kai about it over the phone. "That old thing is not sensible at all. What should we do now? We've already alerted the enemy. Don't worry. Although the butler might not accept it, he won't say anything." Xing Kai knew the butler very well. "But now he's not willing to get close to us. That means he's refusing to cooperate with us. He doesn't need a lawyer, but it doesn't mean that his son doesn't need one. Just skip the butler and go to his son. I don't believe that the butler's heart is made of stone. He won't even help his own son when he's in danger." Gu Xiling thought that there was no other way. "If I knew this earlier, I would have used force. Don't worry. The butler can't escape from us." Xing Kai comforted Gu Xiling. "We still have plenty of time. We still have a chance to get the butler. Don't be discouraged." However, they never thought that the butler was so old. He was even older than Grandpa Xing. How could he withstand their torment? But for the inheritance and status, they couldn't care less now. But why could the butler stay in the Xing family for so many years? Because in his heart he knew very well that some things were unbearably dirty. Since Gu Xiling had taken the initiative to express her goodwill, how could he not know what the couple was planning? Xing Bowen had just become the CEO of Huangyao. His foundation was not stable yet. If Xing Kai continued to stir up trouble behind the scenes, the Xing family might not be as glorious as when Xiao was still around. But he couldn't tell Grandpa Xing. It was not because of anything else. He felt that Grandpa Xing couldn't take it anymore. Of course, he could still mention it to Xing Bowen. When the bell rang, Mu Qiqi and Feng Xianxian went straight to the police station. Who would feel good when encountering such a headache-inducing case? Every time they went to the crime scene, they had to go through mountains and rivers. No one could stand it, let alone two delicate girls. The police officers who went to the crime scene 2 or 3 times were miserable. Their legs were trembling. I can basically conclude that the murderer did it on purpose. There are still a lot of things we don't know. It will take time to go up the mountain. It will also take time to come back and do the tests. By the time the results are out, the traces will have been erased. Tang Yan looked at the people in the police station, sighing. He suggested, "I'll go up the mountain and stay there. If there are any new discoveries, I'll inform you. Or I'll take pictures of them with my phone. It might save some time." "You're going up alone?" The professor was a little worried. "Although you're strong, what if the other party is a gang? Aren't you courting death if you go up alone? Then add someone to go with me." "I'll pack some equipment and go up with you," said the professor. "If possible, we can do some experiments up there." Chapter 589. Had he never thought about who he would be afraid of? It was good to be alone. "Do you want to follow him?" Mu Qiqi could not help but lean on Feng Xianxian's shoulder. "Look at your eyes. They are completely focused on Officer Tang." "Is it that obvious?" Feng Xianxian asked. "Look at yourself in the mirror, Feng Xianxian. Do you know that your eyes are the same as mine? How is it the same as yours? I want to eat him up too. I see Xiaoxiao's eyes are the same until now." Mu Qiqi laughed. "Actually, it's not bad if you follow him. Your relationship will definitely progress by leaps and bounds." "To Wei, do you believe it? If I say I want to follow him, he will stare at me and say that I am dragging the team down." Feng Xianxian knew her place, so she did not join in the fun. Although she really wanted to know what Tang Yan was thinking and what the story behind it was better for her not to add to the chaos at this time. "Then go back and rest. The exam is coming soon," Mu Qiqi said. There were too few clues in the case now, and the two of them could not go up. If the professor followed them, he should be able to provide a lot of clues for the criminal investigation team. You go first. I will stay for a while. Feng Xianxian did not plan to leave for the time being. Mu Qiqi glanced at Feng Xianxian. In the end, she asked her seriously, he's a police officer and you're a forensic doctor. Everything can be positive. As long as you calm down and fall in love, Officer Tang won't be the second scumbag, right? You can be serious. Don't play around and miss your happiness. Who knew if Tang Yan would be the second scumbag? At least his image in private was not positive at all. There are some things I can't tell you, Qiqi. You won't understand. Because your first love is Xianxia. You only have Xianxia as your man. Mu Qiqi lowered her head and thought for a few seconds. Then she nodded. Maybe. After that, Mu Qiqi left the police station and got into the car that Su Che came to pick her up. When they got home, Mu Qiqi sat on the carpet without saying a word. Then she put her head on Xianxiao's lap and leaned against him. What's wrong? Xianxiao lowered his head and asked. Continue reading your information. I'm just thinking about life. Mu Qiqi said in a deep voice. Xiao, what do you think would have happened to me if I hadn't met you? I don't know how many times I've been sold, Xianxiao replied calmly. Mu Qiqi did not forget that Xianxiao had dragged her out of the hotel. Oh, I'm such a lucky person. Mu Qiqi took a deep breath and continued lying on Xianxiao's lap. Xianxiao ignored her and subconsciously stroked her hair as if to comfort her silently. Mu Qiqi felt so comfortable that she closed her eyes and quickly fell asleep. When Mama Xing came to ask them to eat, Xianxiao only made a shushing gesture at her. Asleep. Then carry her upstairs and come down for dinner, Mama Xing said softly. The whole family doted on the little one, so it was not an exaggeration to say that she was the group's favorite. Even so, Mu Qiqi did not cherish the love of others just because there were so many people who loved her. On the contrary, she cherished it even more. Because she knew how hard it was to get such love. Xianxiao put down the information and carried Mu Qiqi horizontally. Then he walked to their bedroom, thinking that there were no festivals recently where he could take out their wedding rings. He couldn't wait to wear the ring because it would show that he had a family. But it was meaningless to wear it himself. So while Mu Qiqi was asleep, Xianxiao took the ring box downstairs and handed it to Mama Xing. Mom, please give this to Qi. Mama Xing was shocked when she opened it. This is your wedding ring? Why don't you give it to her yourself? I wasn't ready when we got married. Now that I'm ready, but there are no important days. I don't know how to give it to her. Just tell her that you and Dad prepared it for us. It will make her happier and more meaningful. Mama Xing frowned. She always felt that her son was not such a roundabout person. What do you want? Just say it. I also want her to coax me. When Xianxiao said this, his tone was very light. Sounded like a joke. But Mama Xing knew that in her son's heart, he also hoped that Xiaoqi would play tricks on him and make their life more romantic. Understanding what her son meant, Mama Xing chuckled. That's it. I'll give it to her for you. Won't your conscience hurt if you take something you made and let Cheer coax you to make you happy? I want to have a sense of ceremony. She did not know how Mu Qiqi would give the wedding rings to Xianxiao after she got them. I hope you can always love Xiaoqi like this. Xianxiao raised his eyebrows. Was there a need to doubt it? He had never regretted the woman he chose. He loved her more every day. That little thing was his for the rest of her life. No one could take her away, not even the king of hell. On the other hand, Tang Yan went up the mountain. That night, Feng Xianxian was the only one at home. What Mu Qiqi said to her last night lingered in her mind. But she knew very well that she did not have the confidence to keep Tang Yan by relying on true love and feelings. The danger level of this man was comparable to that of a typhoon. But she did not know that Tang Yan was determined to have her. Late at night, it started raining on the mountain again. Because the residents on the mountain couldn't accommodate the people from the police station, the people from the police station temporarily rested in the temple. They started a fire and a group of people gathered around it to keep warm. When it rains, there will be less evidence in the cellar, said the professor. It's really troublesome. We still haven't found the exact identity of the couple's bodies. I wonder if the screening is over. It's over. Tang Yan hung up the phone and said to the professor, the couple are unemployed people from this city. They are both 28 years old. The man's name is Qin Qiao and the woman's name is Xiao Yu. They are childhood sweethearts. They have been missing for a week. Because they usually go out to play, no one at home reported them. It was not until this afternoon when Xiao Yu's mother couldn't get through to her phone that she went to the police station. It's easier now that we know the identities of the victims. The professor sighed. The tattoos on their bodies, the temple and the cellar all hide a lot of secrets. Now it's up to you young people to dig them out. Uncle, I'll send you down, said Tang Yan. The forensics laboratory needs you more. You're willing to go down? The professor was surprised. I thought you would stay up there until the case is solved. The clues are all down there. Chapter 590. Not long after Feng Xianxian returned home, she received a call from the police station, saying that the pair of B*cheese who had injured her had been found. After squandering the cash they had taken from her, they had nowhere to go, so they found a new target. However, they were not so lucky this time and were sent directly to the police station. Feng Xianxian thought that she did not need to waste her time on these two rascals. But after thinking about it, why should she? They ate her food, lived in her place, robbed her money and injured her head. Why should she let them live a good life? So Feng Xianxian went to the police station. When Tang Yan went down the hill, he went straight home. But no one answered the doorbell after he rang it for a long time. So Tang Yan took out his phone and called Feng Xianxian. Where are you? I'm at the police station. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Are you at the police station? Tang Yan frowned. It's not about the case. It's a private matter. The two B*cheese have been found, Feng Xianxian replied. Tang Yan did not say anything else. He did not have the key to the door, so he could only go to the police station. At this moment, the two B*cheese were kneeling on the ground, kowtowing to Feng Xianxian and apologizing. Xianxian, please let us go. We were just confused. Xianxian, I've been with you for so long. Please don't sue us. I don't want to go to jail. Please, I beg you. If a stranger broke into my house and robbed me, I might not hate him so much. But I've given my heart to you. Since you betrayed me, I won't let you go. Otherwise, what would I become? Feng Xianxian asked the two. Xianxian, aren't you fine? That's because I'm tough. Feng Xianxian rolled her eyes. Xianxian, I apologize to you. Really. My grandmother is critically ill at home. I had no choice. If you don't believe me, look at the notice in my phone. Feng Xianxian calmed down and looked at her friend. When she was about to say something, Tang Yan arrived at the police station. Haven't you settled the matter? Feng Xianxian turned around and looked at the man. She frowned. I'm sleepy too. But these two keep wasting my time. Go out and wait, Tang Yan said to Feng Xianxian. The car is not locked. Listening to his words, did this man mean to help her deal with it? Thinking of this, Feng Xianxian slipped away quickly. She couldn't ask for more help. So this time she listened to Tang Yan. She walked out of the police station and opened the door of Tang Yan's SUV. When the two of them saw Tang Yan, they immediately panicked. Tang Yan's height gave them an oppressive feeling. In addition to his muscles, the two bastards were sweating profusely. Detective Tang, how should we deal with these two people? The police asked Tang Yan. Everyone in the team was busy with the dismemberment case, and they still had to deal with these two B*cheese. They were very impatient. You guys are unlucky, Tang Yan said to the two B*cheese. My grandma is really sick, that's why What does your grandma's critical condition have to do with me? Tang Yan retorted with a different kind of anger. Even the members of the police team felt that Officer Tang was exceptionally cold today. No. Police, shouldn't you sympathize with ordinary citizens like us? I was born without a heart. Especially to criminals. Then Tang Yan said to the police, charge them with robbery and intentional assault. Charge them with public prosecution. The police officer nodded. Tang Yan was good at psychological profiling, but everyone knew that he was also good at other aspects. He could fight and resist, and his mind was terrifyingly calm. So, there was a rumor that Tang Yan was here to replace the captain of the criminal investigation team because the current captain was going to be transferred away. Because of this premise, the members of the police team obeyed his orders. Feng Xianxian's good friend saw Tang Yan defending Feng Xianxian, so she asked, your relationship with Feng Xianxian must be unusual. Otherwise, you wouldn't have helped her vent her anger. It's none of your business. She's a whore who's willing to be a husband to anyone. She slept with a second-generation rich boyfriend and even had an abortion. Take her away. Tang Yan's voice was cold. Then he left the police station and returned to the car. Is it settled? Feng Xianxian saw the cold expression on Tang Yan's face. She knew that the two men would not end well. The cold Hades must be very tired. But the key was with her and she was at the police station. Tang Yan could only help her settle the matter quickly before he could go home and sleep. Of course, Feng Xianxian would not know what her friend had said to Tang Yan just now. Tang Yan did not answer her. He quickly drove off. Feng Xianxian saw that his face was really bad, so she kept quiet. After a while they arrived home. Feng Xianxian saw the sofa and laid down on it. Anyway, the cold Hades would go back to his study. They must be living together with the strangest relationship. Tang Yan stood in the living room and stared at Feng Xianxian's back. After a while he bent down to carry Feng Xianxian and strode into the bedroom. What are you doing? It's midnight. Tang Yan's face was very close. Feng Xianxian's heart raced. She had no idea what he was going to do. But Tang Yan did not say anything. After he put her down he turned and left the bedroom. You're too strange. Feng Xianxian lay on the bed. She felt comfortable. She was too lazy to move and fell asleep on the bed. You know that some people are hell, an abyss, a moth flying into the fire, but you can't do anything to them. The next morning Mu Chichi woke up early and went downstairs. She saw Mama Xing preparing breakfast. Xiaoqi, are you up so early because of the exam? Mu Chichi nodded. It's because of the exam. That's why the perverted teachers asked me to go to school early. Thinking of the ring Xing Xiao gave her yesterday, Mama Xing took it out from the room when there was no one else in the house. This is for you. Mu Chichi took it and saw 2 rings. She was shocked. Mom, this is the wedding ring for you and 8th brother. Take it as a token of our appreciation. Find a chance to give it to 8th brother. Don't be so nice to me. Mu Chichi almost cried. Silly child, keep it well. Mama Xing smiled happily. Give 8th brother a big surprise. Mu Chichi looked at the diamond rings carefully. They were so meticulous, so exquisite and full of emotion. They were objects that were watered with love. They did not look like gifts that a mother-in-law prepared for her daughter-in-law and son. What's wrong? Chapter 591. Although Mu Chichi was easily immersed in happiness, it did not mean that she was a little cutie who did not know how to think. How could her man not know such an important thing? He did not believe it. But since Mama Xing had given it to her, fine. She would pretend that she did not know. When she arrived at school, Mu Chichi saw that Feng Xianxian was completely listless. She asked her, "Did you not sleep well these days? Or did you do something bad?" Those 2B****s were caught. The police called me at 2 in the middle of the night. What could I do? Feng Xianxian answered angrily. Then how did you take revenge? I don't know. I handed it over to the police and left. Feng Xianxian answered. You just let them go after they broke their heads? What else can I do? I can't call them back. Feng Xianxian pointed at the podium with her chin. The teacher is here. Let's listen. In the morning, in the noble ward of the hospital. The butler had received 3 calls in the short hour he stayed in the hospital. This made Grandpa Xing look at him suspiciously. Something happened at home? Yes, master. Something happened to my son. Then go back and solve it. Xiling and Hu Ran are here. There are others who can take care of me. You don't have to do everything yourself. After listening to the old man's words, the butler smiled and said, Then I'll go home in peace. Go. You are not bored staying in the hospital all day. I am bored to death. The butler thanked Grandpa Xing again and left the hospital with the food box. Of course he knew that once he left, both his family and the Xing family would change dramatically. But in his heart he would not betray Grandpa Xing even if he died. After all, they had been master and servant for so many years. Moreover, the Xing family had treated him well. Thinking of this, the butler called Xing Bowen. Third young master, you must be careful of second young master. If you are in trouble, you must ask 8th young master for help. Butler, do you know something? I don't know anything. I just think that second young master might have some ulterior motives, the butler answered. Okay, I will remember, Xing Bowen answered. After that he asked the butler with concern, Butler, are you okay? I'm fine, third young master, don't worry. If you have any difficulties you must tell me. Xing Bowen was a little worried. Thank you, third young master. The butler knew that he had to take care of his family and his son's feelings when he returned home. However, he did not want to betray the Xing family or Grandpa Xing. The person who called him was his wife. Over the phone she kept scolding him for not helping her. Because Xing Kai had prepared the best lawyer for him, but he was not willing to accept their help. When his wife found out, she was heartbroken and couldn't believe it was her husband's choice. If Xing Kai and his wife did not go to his wife, how would she know about it? Clearly, Xing Kai and his wife were forcing him to submit. Xing Bowen found it strange. Usually the butler would not call him alone, let alone because of Xing Kai. Thinking of this, Xing Bowen immediately realized that something might have happened to the butler, so he called Hu Ran. Hu Ran picked up the phone and heard Xing Bowen asking, "Is the housekeeper there?" Grandpa gave him a day off to deal with some matters. This morning he received 3 emergency calls in a row. "Okay, I got it." Xing Bowen hung up the phone and asked his secretary to find out where the butler lived and what happened. He had a feeling that it might have something to do with second brother. Then Xing Bowen called Xianxia. "Eighth brother, what is it?" "I think something must have happened to the butler's family." Xing Bowen told Xianxia about the butler's call today. "The butler is so old and he is so loyal to the Xing family. Second brother really does something to an old man like him. I really think he is not human anymore. Since you have already sent someone to investigate, why did you call me? You are so smart. You must be able to help the butler," Xing Bowen said. "Eighth brother, the butler is very important to Grandpa. He's like a brother." Xianxia did not answer. Instead he hung up the phone and said to Su Che, "Go out immediately. I will tell you what you need to do over the phone later." "Where did?" Xianxia thought for a moment and wrote it to Su Che. The butler had mentioned about his family and his background. Xianxia remembered it because his memory was no joke. However, Xianxia was puzzled. Why could Xing Kai not help but attack the butler? Grandpa Xing was still lying in the hospital. What he did not know was that Grandpa Xing had already told the Xing family that he had made his will. Xing Kai and his wife knew that they had no chance, so they did it. Of course, they underestimated the butler's loyalty to the Xing family and Xing Bowen's ability. They even underestimated Xing Zhao's concern for this matter. In fact, the butler had already prepared for the worst on his way home. But he could not bear to. He could not bear to leave the Xing family and the young masters and ladies of the Xing family. In the evening, Mu Qiqi went straight home after class. Xing Xiao had called her and told her that he was going somewhere at night and might not be able to come back tomorrow. Mu Qiqi did not wait for Xing Xiao to explain and agreed immediately. Since her man felt that it was urgent, she would certainly follow him without hesitation. So Feng Xianxian was the only one who went to the autopsy room. However, when she went in, she got the news that the former captain of the criminal investigation team had been transferred in the morning. Now Tang Yan was officially taking over the team. Feng Xianxian was surprised. No wonder Tang Yan had to come in from nowhere. She did not expect that the higher-ups were prepared for this. "I thought Officer Tang was just here to help. You have underestimated him, haven't you?" The professor smiled. "He became a criminal police officer at the age of 21. It has been almost 7 years now. Do you think he is not capable of leading the team?" "I don't mean that. I just don't see it." Feng Xianxian scratched her nose awkwardly. "That cold-faced Yama did not tell me his real age. You are giving people random nicknames again." The professor was speechless. "Since he is the captain, can't you give him some face in the future?" Feng Xianxian coughed softly. Was she not giving Tang Yan face? Chapter 592. "I'll pack my things and go out with you." The professor naturally accepted the task. After all, he had to support his nephew. However, Tang Yan did not answer. Instead, he looked at Feng Xianxian. "Are you talking about me?" Feng Xianxian pointed at her nose and asked. "What else?" "I'm just an assistant. I'm not an official forensic doctor yet." "Cut the crap. Hurry up." Tang Yan walked out of the autopsy room. "Does this count as a new official making 3 changes?" Feng Xianxian was a little unconvinced. The professor could not help but laugh when he heard this. "Since he asked you to go, he must have his reasons. He won't take revenge on you." "Really?" Feng Xianxian was doubtful. Of course, her suspicion was very correct. For example, Tang Yan's punishment for the 2B asterisk cheese last night was very heavy. Feng Xianxian did not think too much about it. She simply packed up her things and followed Tang Yan after a while. Just the two of us? When she saw that Tang Yan did not bring anyone with him, Feng Xianxian could not help but look at him curiously. There are forensic doctors in the station and the professor is also here. Why do you want to bring a half-baked doctor like me? Although I don't want to admit it, in terms of professionalism, I'm not even as good as Mu Qiqi. There's no need for an autopsy. I'm just going to see Xiao Yu's mother. After that, today's task will be considered completed. Tang Yan walked in front and gave Feng Xianxian an explanation. It's on the way. Get the key. I said I'm not worthy, Feng Xianxian said stubbornly. Before she got the key, she still had someone to look for. If she got the key, even if she and Tang Yan lived under the same roof, they would not have much interaction. They were clearly living together. She did not want herself to think that she was living with a ghost. Give me a reason. If I don't get the key, I still have someone to look for. If I get the key, you'll be appearing and disappearing all day. I'll feel very uncomfortable. After hearing this, Tang Yan did not say anything else. Instead, he brought her directly to Xiao Yu's house. However, as a woman, Feng Xianxian felt gloomy the moment she entered Xiao Yu's house. I can see that her mother is also a very superstitious person. There is a very strong sandalwood smell in the house. Tang Yan glanced at Feng Xianxian and told her, Xiao Yu's grandfather went to the temple to cultivate in his later years. He had a great influence on the family. So Xiao Yu and her mother believed in Buddha since they were young. Xiao Yu's father hated the fact that his entire family had gone berserk. So when Xiao Yu was 7 years old, he abandoned them and went out to roam the world alone. I haven't heard from him in the past few years. Xiao Yu's death is related to her father. Tang Yan did not say it out loud because the two of them had already entered Xiao Yu's living room. Feng Xianxian and Tang Yan looked at each other when they saw the furnishings inside that looked like a Buddhist hall. Madam Xiao, there's something I want to discuss with you. Professor Tang, please speak. The woman sat on the sofa and covered her face as she wept. Because Tang Yan had been there once, Xiao Yu's mother had a deep impression of him. I don't know if you have seen this pattern before. Tang Yan showed the tattoo on Xiao Yu's body to Xiao Yu's mother. Xiao Yu's mother's face changed when she saw it. Officer Tang, why are you asking me this? Because your daughter has this pattern on her body. Xiao Yu's mother was stunned and cried even harder. I didn't know that Xiao Yu hated me so much. He hated me as a mother. Can you explain it in detail? It's all because of her and Xianxia. Because we have always believed in Buddha, it caused the neighbors to criticize us. So the Qin family looked down on Xiao Yu and wanted to separate her and Xianxia. Xiao Yu's mother explained, she argued with me and wanted to live a normal life, but I didn't agree. I didn't expect that she would choose such an extreme method to protest against me. This talisman is used to curse people. It's a curse that makes people unable to reincarnate forever. What did you talk about the last time you met your daughter? Tang Yan continued to ask. She told me that she and Xianxia were going to a faraway place to play for a long time. I thought that they were just like usual, so I didn't pay much attention to it, Xiao Yu's mother answered. Do you know the temple on the mountain? Xiao Yu's mother shook her head. Sorry to disturb you today. Tang Yan did not want to ask more questions, so he stood up from the chair. Feng Xianxian also stood up with him. I'll send you off. After walking out of the Xiao family, Feng Xianxian hugged her shoulders tightly because she felt extremely gloomy. If Tang Yan was not by her side, she would not dare to come to such a place. It was no wonder that the Qin family objected to the two children's relationship. It was an abnormal family. What do you want to know by coming here? Their phones were not found and we can't find out who the last person Xiao Yu and Xianxia saw was. Xiao Yu's mother looked very sad in front of us, but the tattoo on her daughter's body was obviously cursing someone or even her own mother. I don't believe that Xiao Yu's mother didn't see it or didn't know about it. Because of Xianxia, their relationship should be very tense. So Xiao Yu's mother must be hiding a lot of things, Tang Yan answered. Feng Xianxian felt cold and could not help but shrink her neck. At this time, Tang Yan reached out and held her under his arm. Let's go back. Are you using your official position for personal gain? Feng Xianxian said uncomfortably. If you don't want to come out and learn, I'll find someone else next time. I didn't say that. Feng Xianxian immediately became obedient. Just like that, Tang Yan brought her out of the Xiao family. In the dark night on the Bluestone Road, their shadows were very long. Feng Xianxian did not know why, but she suddenly had a feeling in her heart that she was different from others in this man's heart. There was something special about her. But Tang Yan said nothing. On the other hand, Xianxia and Mu Qiqi had just arrived at the butler's hometown. Su Che immediately found out about the butler's son. This old man's son was obviously used as a tool by someone. A group of people dragged him into a gang fight. In the end, the knife was found in his hand. Where is the butler now? In the hotel opposite the detention center, Su Che said. He's with his wife. What's second brother doing? I went to ask around. It seems that the couple quarreled in the hotel. In the detention center, the old man's son also shouted that his father did not save him. Go and find out more. I want to know the whole story, Xianxia said to Su Che. Su Che nodded and left the hotel. Chapter 593. Are you unhappy that I'm here to help him? Xianxia sat on the sofa and asked Mu Qiqi. Mu Qiqi shook her head. Since you're here, it means that this is not a simple matter. I won't ask about Xingkai. Xianxia beckoned Mu Qiqi with his finger. Come here. When Mu Qiqi came closer, he pulled her to sit on his lap. If you're tired, you can sleep. Mu Qiqi shook her head. I can't sleep if you don't sleep. Speaking of which, you don't care about the Xing family's affairs. But when something happens to the Xing family, you're the first one to run. Xianxia looked at Mu Qiqi seriously. Are you disappointed? How could I be disappointed? In fact, it was because her man was emotional that he cherished the old times. He seemed to be indifferent, but in fact he remembered many people in his heart. At this time the butler was lying on the bed. He could not sleep because his son's cries kept ringing in his ears. Although he was a good-for-nothing son, he was still his own son. He could not bear to ignore him. But if he really used the lawyer Xingkai found, he was destined to be in the hands of that couple in the future. He did not want to betray Grandpa Xing. This was a dilemma. He had already made it clear that he would use all his savings to find a better lawyer for his son, but the mother and son seemed to have been drugged and insisted on this lawyer. Now that he thought about it, the butler was very angry, sad, and conflicted. More importantly, Xingkai had already talked to the local people. In other words, if he did not agree to accept Xingkai's help, his son would not be able to escape from prison. Thinking about how he had done his best for the Xing family for so many years, he had really done his best. He really did not expect that Xingkai could force him to this extent. Unable to bear it anymore, the butler called Xingkai. Second young master, you can't bully people like this. Aren't you afraid that I'll tell old master about this? Butler, I want to help you out of kindness. Why won't you agree? Your son is in danger now. Why are you forcing me to give in to you? Say it clearly. The housekeeper asked angrily. My son doesn't need your help. He can be fine. How can you not understand my painstaking efforts? All you have to do is accept my kindness. Xingkai, you will die a horrible death. The butler was anxious and scolded. Don't think that I don't know what you're thinking. You're fantasizing about old master's will. Let me tell you, there's no benefit in forcing me into a corner. Butler, aren't you being too self-righteous? Xingkai laughed on the other end of the phone. I just want to help you. I don't want your help. After that, the butler smashed the phone. He only had one son, but he did not want to betray the Xing family. Therefore he could only go to the extreme. It was midnight. Su Che suddenly appeared in front of Xianxia and Mu Qiqi's room and knocked on the door. Xiao, something happened. Xianxia sat up, opened the door and looked at Su Che. That old man jumped off a building. He's in the hospital now. Fortunately, he jumped on the grass. The hospital is trying to save him. What happened? Did you find out? Xianxia immediately turned around and went back to his room. He changed his clothes on the hanger with his back facing Su Che. Xingkai hired a lawyer to help him, but the old man kept rejecting him. Xingkai must have gone to the old man first, but he was rejected. Later he went to the old man's wife and son. The people in the detention center were all told to take special care of them. It seems that Xingkai wants to force the old man to submit. As for the specific reason, only the two of them know. Su Che said. When Xianxia heard the last sentence, he had already put on his watch. Second brother doesn't know that we're here, right? I don't think so. If we didn't come, the butler would have been forced to his death, Xianxia said coldly. It seems that he doesn't want to stay in Jianchuan anymore. What should we do now? Go and greet the people in the detention center first. Suppress Xianxia's men and let the police intervene in this matter fairly. The butler's son is innocent in the first place. He doesn't need a lawyer. Also bring that lawyer here. I want to see him. I'll do it right away, said Suche. What about the hospital? The butler's family is in the hospital. You don't have to worry. The butler's wife was probably scared out of her wits after he jumped off the building. She probably wouldn't cause trouble for him now. Then Xianxia, record everything that happened here. When we go back, let the Xing family appreciate it. Xiao said coldly. I thought that second brother would restrain himself. I didn't expect him to become a demon. Then we can only subdue the demon. I bet Xianxia is panicking too. Because of this, it was possible for second brother to continue to harm the butler. After all, if the butler was still alive, then his secret would be exposed. As expected, when Gu Xiling heard about the butler jumping off the building, she was so scared that her legs went weak. After all, it was a human life. She had never thought of forcing the butler to that extent. Both she and Xianxia thought that as long as they pushed the butler to the edge, he would definitely compromise. Who would have thought that he would be so unyielding? What should we do now? The butler jumped off the building. We don't know if he's dead or alive. What should we do if he spreads the news? Xianxia held Gu Xiling's hands. His eyes were firm. Then in for a penny, in for a pound. Let this matter sleep forever. But he did not know that Xiao had already intervened in this matter. At 2 o'clock in the morning, the lawyer hired by Xianxia was dragged to Xiao's room by Suche. Who are you? Do you believe that I can sue you for kidnapping? The lawyer's tone was not soft. But Suche kicked him on the knee. The man could not help but kneel on the ground. Only then did he see who was sitting in the room. Lawyer Song, you are so arrogant. When the lawyer saw Xiao, he was so scared that his legs went weak. He knelt on the ground. Crown Prince, no, Chief Xing, I didn't know you were here. Look, why are you feeling guilty? Xiao asked. Did you do something shameful? Chief Xing, I was forced. I was forced by second young master. I don't want to be ruthless. It seems that you have heard about the butler jumping off the building. Xiao tidied his clothes and looked at the lawyer coldly. What did Xianxia ask you to do? You better tell me everything now. Otherwise, I can't guarantee that the next person to jump off the building will not be you. When the lawyer heard that, he broke out in cold sweat and trembled. I'll tell you everything. Chapter 594. Xianxia's despicableness was beyond Xiao's imagination. In just a short time he had turned himself into a monster through and through. That was why Xiao did not have to care about any brotherhood this time. Xianxia and Gu Xiling were going to disappear from the Xing family. In the hospital, the butler's wife was still sobbing in front of the operating room. She really did not expect that her husband would be forced to this extent. The second young master of the Xing family had said that he would help their family. But what about now? He had forced her husband to jump off the building. She was at a loss and did not know who to trust. After that, Xiao asked Suche to stay at the hospital. If the butler was lucky enough to survive, Suche would transfer the butler to another hospital if the conditions allowed. Who are you? The butler's wife asked Suche warily when she saw him. I am someone who can save your husband and son. Suche replied. You should know something now. With that, Suche played the recording to the butler's wife. After the housekeeper's wife heard this, she immediately fell to the ground and cried bitterly, It's my fault, it's my fault. I thought that the second young master was a good person. I really didn't expect that they would be so despicable and shameless to force my husband to submit. It's good that you know your ignorance. Suche's voice was cold. I don't object to you loving your son more than your husband. But please give him the most basic respect and trust. It's all my fault. It's all my fault. I caused him to become like this. That's right. With that, Suche kept watch around the operating room. He did not want Xianxia's people to have any chance to get close to the butler. If Xianxia had the ability to snatch the man from his hands, he would not need to be Xiao's assistant anymore. Meanwhile, Xiao woke up early the next morning and was ready to return to Jianshuan. So, everything is settled? Mu Qiqi asked as she helped him put on his coat. The butler jumped off the building and is still in danger. Suche is keeping watch at the hospital. We don't have to waste time here. Let's go back and settle the score. Xianxia said calmly. Are you sure it's Xingkai? For the sake of the old man's will, I wanted to start with the butler. But I didn't expect the butler to be so stubborn and unwilling to work for Xingkai. So, I chose such an extreme way to end my own life. I don't want to be in a dilemma. Then about his son, Suche has also gone to greet them. If that group of people still want their hats, then they must try the case impartially. They don't need any lawyers at all. Otherwise, Mu Qiqi nodded after hearing that. She did not expect so many things to happen in just one night. She had slept so soundly. In other words, we'll be watching Xingkai's show when we get back, right? Mu Qiqi asked. Xingxiao turned to look at her, and the corners of his mouth curled up slightly. There was a hint of mockery and danger in his smile. Xingkai was probably in deep trouble this time. Still, there was no telling if Jianchuan would tolerate him in the end. Either way, the Xing family definitely would not. That morning, Mu Qiqi did not go to Xingting for class. Feng Xianxian saw the empty seat beside her and suddenly felt very lonely. It turned out that this was the value of the existence of an opponent. Without Mu Qiqi and Xingting, even classes would be meaningless. It would be better to follow Tang Yan out on the field. Thinking of Tang Yan, Feng Xianxian had to admit that she had underestimated this man's ability. She did not expect that he had been a criminal police officer for 7 years. In the past he was so quiet and unlikable. She thought that he was just an ordinary police officer. She did not expect that he was here to be the captain. Feng Xianxian had to admit that Tang Yan's identity as the captain of the special task force was a plus in her heart. Because it represented a man's courage, ability to plan, and ability to coordinate. Not everyone could bear this identity. But no matter how outstanding he was just a bed partner. Moreover, since Tang Yan was so outstanding, there must be many women who liked him in the past. His skills were so good. He must have had countless girlfriends in the past. How could she be serious about such a dangerous man? At 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Tang Yan just returned to the police station because he had a major discovery. He found out that there was a person in Jianchuan who used to have a tattoo like this. The tattooist told Tang Yan that there was once a woman who learned the art of tattooing from him just to get this tattoo. A woman. He also asked the police to ask the residents on the hill if they had seen Mrs. Xiao. One of the aunties had a good memory. She remembered that such a woman had come here before. So Mrs. Xiao was listed as a key suspect and brought back to the police station for interrogation. Officer, I've told you everything I know. Why do you still want to arrest me? That's because you didn't tell us the truth. Before Xiaoyu disappeared, you and Xiaoyu had a fight. Why didn't you tell the police about this? The police began to interrogate Mrs. Xiao. We always fight like this, so... But this time it was especially fierce, wasn't it? The neighbors saw it and you even slapped her. Mrs. Xiao's eyes began to flicker. After a while she said, yes, I did slap her, but it was just a normal quarrel between a mother and daughter. Then tell me, where did the tattoos on Xiaoyu and Xiao come from? The police continued to ask. How would I know that Xiaoyu died so tragically? You're still lying. Do you know this man? The police showed Mrs. Xiao the photo of the tattooist. Do you still remember the time you learned the art of tattooing from him? Mrs. Xiao's face suddenly changed. I don't know him. Xiaoyu wanted to marry Xianxia, but you didn't agree. So they agreed to elope, but you found out about it. You tried to stop Xiaoyu, but you failed. The police said, we got this from the Qin family because Qin Xiao talked to his mother before he left with Xiaoyu. You said that you supported Xiaoyu and Qin Xiao to be together, but that's not the case at all. You can't bear to see your daughter leave with another man, just like how your husband left you, right? Mrs. Xiao was obviously provoked. She suddenly exploded. Oh no. You're talking nonsense. Tang Yan was outside the interrogation room. He knew that the mystery of this case was about to be solved. Seeing his tired face, the professor asked him, I heard that you brought Xianxian to visit the place last night? I can't bring you there, can I? Chapter 595. It's just official business, Tang Yan answered coldly. After hearing that, the professor did not continue asking because he wanted to know if Tang Yan would explain. If he did, it would be like exposing himself. But he was just doing official business, which meant that Tang Yan really did not have any feelings for Feng Xianxian. Mu Qiqi did not come today. A rich family also has a lot of troubles. It's not easy for Mu Qiqi. The professor spoke up for Mu Qiqi. With such a background, she is still willing to come to our small police station. I am already very satisfied with her. What did I say? Tang Yan frowned and looked at the professor. You're the captain now. The criminal investigation team is yours. I am afraid that you will say that you don't want Xiaoqi. Compared to her, I want Feng Xianxian to go home more. Tang Yan told the truth, but the professor covered his mouth. Aren't you afraid that others will hear it? That girl is petty. She deserves to take revenge on you. In the evening, the setting sun appeared in the sky of Jianchuan. After Xing Xiao brought Mu Qiqi back to Jianchuan, he did not go to Xing Kai personally. Instead, he tidied up everything and handed it to Grandpa Xing, who was lying in the hospital. The grandson was his and the butler was also his. The choice was up to Grandpa Xing. The documents were sent by Grandpa Xing's attending doctor. Gu Xiling did not notice it. Grandpa Xing wanted to make a request to the doctor, but he did not want his family to hear it. So the doctor used the reason of examining Grandpa Xing to ask his family to leave. I want to go back to Xing Mansion to deal with some things. I will come back later. Grandpa Xing begged the doctor. Old Xing, you have to know that your surgery is not an ordinary one. The recovery is slow. If you continue to worry about it, it will not be good for the wound to recover. If I don't deal with this matter, I will not be able to eat and sleep in peace, said Grandpa Xing. Some of the sequelae after your surgery have not been completely eliminated. I'm really worried. But if you must go out, can you promise me that you will not be emotional? If you can, I will agree to give you 2 hours. I promise. Grandpa Xing had not even seen his own great-grandson. How could he bear to let anything happen to him? So he would let Xing Bowen handle Xing Kai's matter. Then he would make a decision. He would not quarrel or argue anymore. It was not worth it. After getting the doctor's approval, Grandpa Xing immediately called Xing Bowen and told everyone in the Xing family to come home before 8. Xing Bowen vaguely guessed that it might have something to do with the butler, but what if he was overthinking? That was why he called Xing Xiao. How is the butler? How did you know that I would intervene in this matter? Grandpa asked the Xing family to go home before 8 o'clock. So I guess it must be because of you, said Xing Bowen. 8th brother, you're not a heartless person. I know that. Since Grandpa Xing has summoned you, just go. It's useless to call me since I'm not a member of the Xing family now. With that, Xing Xiao hung up. In that case, the old man still had to deal with it head-on. That meant that Xing Kai would be eliminated. However, it didn't matter if Xing Kai was eliminated. But could the old man's body endure it? To be honest, when he handed the information to Grandpa Xing, Xing Xiao was also very hesitant. Because he knew the power of this bomb. But the butler's life and death were still unknown. He was lying in the ACU for observation. Was Xing Kai not responsible at all? Then he would be even more unscrupulous in doing such things in the future. On the way back to the Xing family, Grandpa Xing tried to call Xing Xiao. 8th brother, do you want to come back? No, said Xing Xiao. With 3rd brother and the others around, there's not much point in me going. 2nd brother will eventually know that I've interfered. So you don't have to make enemies for me. All right then. Grandpa Xing still wanted to treat Xing Xiao as a member of the family. However, Xing Xiao no longer had any feelings for the Xing family. Now Banyan Courtyard was his home. Wherever Xiaoqi was, that was where he belonged. Everyone in the Xing family received the news that they had to return home before 8 o'clock. Because it was Xing Bowen who informed them, the Xing family thought that Xing Bowen had some news. They would never have guessed that Grandpa Xing had already returned home. Xing Kai had guessed it in his heart. But now that the butler's situation was a mess, his heart was also in a mess. The butler committed suicide. The lawyer saw that the situation was not right and turned around to run away. The police had also begun to follow the proper procedures to investigate the case. They did not allow him to continue to threaten the butler. Xing Kai knew that things were very bad because he was still a greenhorn. However, Gu Xiling had been watching over Grandpa Xing. There shouldn't be any news from him. So, if it was just 3rd brother talking nonsense, he could completely control the situation. Xing Bowen returned home early and saw Grandpa Xing sitting in a wheelchair in the study. He was very surprised. Grandpa, you should be recovering in the hospital. I've taken 2 hours off. Now take a look at these documents. Grandpa Xing handed the documents to Xing Bowen. These are all sent by 8th brother. Although I don't know how he got them. Xing Bowen first played the recording. His face began to show anger. Then he heard the news that the butler's life was in danger. Grandpa, is this true? Xing Bowen still could not believe it. He knew that Xianxia and Gu Xiling were capricious. But he never thought that they would do such a thing to kill someone. And this person was an old man who had been with the Xing family for decades. When second brother comes back later, you confront him. I don't want to say this. I don't want to argue with him, said Grandpa Xing. Old Xing said. Make things clear in front of everyone. I think it's time to put an end to some things. Xing Bowen was stunned when he heard the word end. Grandpa, what do you mean? You'll know in the family meeting later, said Grandpa Xing. Xing Bowen actually guessed that Grandpa Xing would chase the two out of the house. But he did not know that Grandpa Xing was actually going to be even more ruthless. Then for the sake of your health, don't come out first. I don't want you to see their faces. Go ahead. Grandpa Xing waved his hand. Faces? It was not like he had not seen it before. What was there to avoid? However, to reassure Xing Bowen and to give Xianxia a surprise, Grandpa Xing really stayed in the study and did not come out immediately. By then most of the Xing family had entered the house, including Xianxia and Gu Xiling. Chapter 596. You don't have to worry about Grandpa. Actually, I have something else to ask you. This afternoon I got a piece of news and want to ask second brother for confirmation. Xianxia was shocked, but he pretended to be calm. I'm tired. Let's talk at the office tomorrow morning. It's not about work. Xing Bowen stopped him. Second brother, why are you feeling guilty? Xianxia turned around and retorted, Third brother, I know you're the CEO of Huang Yao now. That's great. But now that we're home, shouldn't you give me some basic respect as your second brother? Don't tell me that I need to get your permission to rest? Do you know that the butler committed suicide? Xing Bowen went straight to the point. He did not want to beat around the bush with Xianxia anymore. What? When did it happen? You're so good at pretending. Xing Bowen sneered. Second brother, how long are you going to pretend in front of the family? Do you really think that no one will know what you've done? I don't understand what you're talking about. What does the butler's suicide have to do with me? Lawyer Song, don't tell me you don't know him? Xing Bowen asked Xianxia directly. What are you trying to say? Xianxia asked angrily. That's right. Third brother, what are you accusing second brother of? Sixth brother was also anxious. What does the butler's suicide have to do with second brother? The butler's son was arrested for assault and is now in the detention center. Our good second brother said that he wanted to help the butler, but in fact he wanted to control the butler. The butler did not accept second brother's help, so second brother used his identity to pressure the people in the detention center and not allow other lawyers to take on the butler's son's case. The butler did not want to betray Grandpa, so he chose to commit suicide. Xing Bowen explained to everyone. You're lying. Keep lying. Xianxia said to Xing Bowen calmly. The butler has taken care of me for so many years. Why would I do this to him? Because Grandpa announced the will in the hospital that day. You're afraid that you won't get a share of the inheritance, so you want to fight for the butler, Xing Bowen said loudly. Xing Bowen said loudly. Haven't you noticed it yourself? Is your behavior really abnormal recently? Of course, I don't want my second brother to do this either. Since you don't want to, why are you slandering me? Xianxia insisted and refused to admit it. Second brother, if you still have a little conscience, you should kneel in front of the housekeeper and repent. Even now, his life and death are still unknown. It's all because of your selfishness that you don't want to admit it. It doesn't matter. After all, Lawyer Song has already clearly explained this matter and recorded it on his phone. There are traces of you everywhere in the housekeeper's hometown. Don't think that you can hide from everyone. When Xianxia heard that, cold sweat broke out on his forehead. But he refused to admit it. You make it sound like you were there. Second brother, did you really do that to the butler? Sixth brother looked at him in disbelief. For Grandpa's inheritance? Since you all believe me, there's nothing I can do. Xianxia looked helpless. Obviously he was not convinced. However, he did not know what kind of evidence Xing Bowen had in his hands. Xiling, let's go back to the room. Wait. Xing Bowen blocked their way. I'm afraid you won't be able to hide from what happened today. What else do you want? Xianxia asked. The butler has taken care of the Xing family for his whole life and is loyal to Grandpa. But you, for your own selfishness, forced him to this point. It's hard to guarantee that you won't have other ideas for the inheritance in the future. You might even want to kill Grandpa. How can we dare to keep a person like you in the Xing family? Xing Bowen said sternly. So, I think it's better for you and second sister-in-law to leave the Xing family. I will also give you the shares of Huang Yao, Xing Bowen said seriously. As soon as he said this, the entire family was shocked. Was he trying to kick his own brother out of the family? Xing Bowen, don't you think too highly of yourself? Xing Kai laughed. Do you really think that you are the CEO of Huang Yao now and the chairman of Huang Yao in the future? You said that I'm doing this for Grandpa's inheritance. Who can prove it? Don't take a chicken feather as a token of authority and spout nonsense here. But what if I insist that you leave the Xing family today? Xing Bowen asked again. Third brother, you are too soft. You are not suitable to be a leader. Don't you know that? Do you know how many employees in the company are dissatisfied with you? If I didn't settle it for you, do you think you have the right to show off in front of me now? You want to kick me out of the Xing family? Who gave you the right? Let me tell you, Xing Bowen. I just don't fight for it. If I fight for it, you are no match for me. You are still shamelessly slandering me. Have I not been good enough to Grandpa all this time? Third brother, you better not let Grandpa know about this. Otherwise he will definitely teach you a lesson. Xing Bowen did not say anything else. He directly played the recording. No, it should be said that it was a video. Third brother, don't go too far. When Xing Kai saw Lawyer Song's face on the screen, he immediately snatched the phone and smashed it on the ground. The butler has been so good to us. He has taken so much care of us. I really did not expect you to be so cruel. Xing Kai, who do you think wants to kick you out of the Xing family tonight? Xing Bowen looked at the broken phone and questioned Xing Kai sternly. Isn't it you from the beginning to the end? Or should I say eighth brother? It's me. At this moment, when the two brothers were arguing endlessly, Grandpa Xing came out of the study. Everyone could not help but shift the timeline. When they saw Grandpa Xing, they were all shocked. I'm the one who wants to kick you out of the Xing family. Is this enough? When Xing Kai saw Grandpa Xing, he immediately took 2 steps back in disbelief. Grandpa, don't listen to third brother's nonsense. I was the one who asked third brother to confront you, Grandpa Xing said to Xing Kai calmly. Grandpa Xing said to Xing Kai calmly. I was the one who gave the evidence to third brother. It was my idea to kick you out of the Xing family. It had nothing to do with him. Grandpa, I am your grandson. How can you do this to me? Then tell me, why did you force the butler? Tell me clearly and I will give you another chance. Xing Kai choked. It should be said that he could not make up a story at all. Chapter 597. Since you can't give me an answer, I will answer it for you. Because you want my inheritance, the shares of Huang Yao, the position of the chairman, and the supreme glory. So you did not hesitate to attack the butler to force him to give in. But you did not expect that the butler would be so stubborn. He did not care about your threats at all. You would rather die than betray me and the Xing family. Second brother, what else do you have to say? Grandpa Xing looked at Xing Kai coldly. Xing Kai could not help but laugh mockingly. It seems that Grandpa is determined to kick me out today. So, you still don't think that you are wrong? I am wrong? Xing Kai asked himself. I'm not wrong. You've always been biased. You've never treated us brothers fairly. If you could be fair, I wouldn't be so anxious. You used to love eighth brother and now you love third brother. Have you ever loved me sincerely? Grandpa, all this is because of you. I will not be in your will. I have nothing. How can I be satisfied? Grandpa, I am your grandson. But now I am not even as good as the butler. If you want to kick me out, I can't say no. But I will not be satisfied. I will never be satisfied. Now that things have come to this, it is not important whether you are satisfied or not. Anyway, tomorrow Huang Yao will announce to the public that you will disappear from the Xing family's genealogy forever. Since I've already gone this far, I'm not afraid of going further. Your shares will be converted into cash as per normal, but you can't take anything else from the Xing family. Moreover, no matter where you want to develop in Jianchuan, you will be suppressed by Huang Yao and the Xing family. Until I die, you must carry out this order. Grandpa Xing said resolutely. When I was sick and hospitalized, you and Gu Xiling had evil intentions. Do you think I did not see it? I've always thought that the most annoying people in this family are the ignorant and incompetent people, such as eldest brother and sixth brother. However, it's only now that I understand what the truly annoying and hateful people are like. You and Gu Xiling make me feel even more hideous than myself. What's wrong with a butler? Although the butler is not related to me by blood, he would rather die than betray me. Can you do that? Xing Kai, from this moment on you are no longer a Xing. I admit that eighth brother went out of his own will, but you have been driven out of this house by me, and you will never be able to step into it again. After hearing Grandpa Xing's last words, Xing Kai took a few steps back. He didn't expect that things would turn out this way and that he would end up like this. Lawson, you're really good. I'm surprised. I didn't expect you to use such a vicious method just to take me down and stop threatening your position as C. Xing Bowen frowned and answered Xing Kai, I don't see you as an opponent. Do you think I will still believe you? It doesn't matter to me whether you believe it or not, Xing Bowen said. Because my goal is not to deal with you. You don't want to deal with me, but you watch me being driven out of the house. Xing Bowen, you are such a good brother. Xing Kai shouted agitatedly. Good Xing family. Since this place doesn't accept me, I will leave with Xiling. But I won't let it go. You can suppress me or target me, but one day I will tell you who is the real master of this place. Having said that, Xing Kai took Gu Xiling's hand. Go. Gu Xiling looked at Grandpa Xing with hatred and smiled. Grandpa Xing, you will die a horrible death. Having said that, they left the house. Grandpa Xing had said that they were not allowed to take anything away. Seeing this scene, Hu Ran stood by the side and secretly held Xing Bowen's arm. Those B***cheese have finally left this house. Grandpa, I will send you back to the hospital. Xing Bowen looked down at Grandpa Xing. Third brother, from now on you have to be careful. Grandpa Xing patted the back of his hand. I don't want to care about the Xing family anymore. The seed of Xing Kai's hatred had been completely planted in the deep pool that was the Xing family. Don't let him make a comeback. It's all up to you. Grandpa, I understand. Who knew what the future would be like? Help me call eighth brother. I want to see him. Hearing this, Xing Bowen suddenly felt that the old man in front of him was just putting up a strong front. So when they returned to the hospital, Xing Bowen immediately asked the doctor to check on Grandpa Xing. It's nothing serious. He's just too tired, the doctor answered. Have you settled your family affairs? Xing Bowen nodded and called Xianxia. Grandpa wants to see you. The butler has woken up, but his head is badly injured. He might have dementia in the future. Grandpa kicked Xing Kai out of the house, Xing Bowen said seriously. Eighth brother, I'm really afraid that Grandpa can't take it anymore. He has to. I will bring cheer here tomorrow morning. After Xing Kai and Gu Xiling left home, they went to Gu Xiling's mother's house. When Mama Gu heard about Xing Kai, she felt sorry for her son-in-law. Why is this old thing so muddle-headed? He doesn't protect his grandson but sides with an outsider? Is there something wrong with him? Mom, now that we've been kicked out of the Xing family, we don't know what to do and we have nowhere to go. You can stay here first. We'll talk about it later. Kai, don't be afraid. Xiling's grandfather knows a lot of people. When the time comes, he can introduce you to them. The Xing family doesn't want you, but the Gu family hasn't collapsed yet. If they look down on us, they will pay them back 100 times sooner or later. Thank you, Mom. Xing Kai covered his face with his hand. His expression was very gloomy. Is he thought of something? Xiling, have you ever thought about who gave the evidence to Grandpa? It can't be third brother. Who else could it be? Gu Xiling sneered. Other than your omnipotent eighth brother. In fact, Xing Kai had the answer in his heart. But it seemed that he could only accept it after hearing Gu Xiling say it. Eighth brother, I will definitely let you taste the taste of failure. Let's not talk so much now. Let's think about what we should do in the future. Hatred was probably the thing that could make a person grow. With this motivation, would Xing Kai not work hard and improve himself? The only pity was that this man could not give her a child. Late at night, Mu Qiqi learned from Xiao that Xing Kai had been kicked out of the house. She had to say that it was very satisfying. Because Grandpa Xing had also been led astray before. But at least he knew to rein in at the last moment. Xing Kai is so vengeful. Now that he has been kicked out of the Xing family, I don't know what kind of trouble he will cause. Mu Qiqi was worried. Chapter 598. I'm so scared. Mu Qiqi glared at him and turned to return to their bedroom. She suddenly remembered that the ring was still in her hands. How could she give it to this man to surprise him? He was really the most cunning old fox. He actually gave her such a difficult problem. However, it seemed that she rarely took the initiative to coax that man. Taking advantage of this opportunity was just right. After Tang Yan became the team leader, he was obviously busier than before. In the past, he was called a workaholic and she could still see him in the middle of the night. But now, Xianxia clearly felt that she was the only one spending the long night alone. It was also impossible for her to devote all her time to the forensics team because she was about to take her exams. Aren't you afraid that you'll suddenly die? You work like this every day and night and you don't even eat breakfast. You don't live long. Xianxia looked at her own information and commented on the man. However, she did not know that after she went out to take out the trash, she did not close the door tightly. When Tang Yan entered the door, he heard her nagging. Xianxia heard movement behind her and turned around curiously. When she saw Tang Yan behind her, she was so scared that she quickly covered her chest. Can you make a sound when you walk? You said I don't have long to live, but you didn't sleep either. Tang Yan entered the living room and started to take off his clothes. Only then did Xianxia notice that there was blood on his body. Did you fight with someone? Mother Xiao bit me. Xianxia asked. Do you still have a good piece of land on you? Either you roll down the mountain or you get bitten. Tang Yan did not say anything. He just went to the bathroom half naked. Xianxia gulped. Only then did she realize that she was infatuated again. It was mainly because Tang Yan's body was too attractive. Just his back alone was enough to make a woman's heart itch. After a while, Tang Yan came out of the shower with wet hair and the fragrance of the shower gel. Xianxia leaned against the door of the bathroom and watched the man take out the hairdryer. I'll help you. Tang Yan glanced at the hairdryer and then handed it to Xianxia. Xianxia took over the heavy responsibility and made Tang Yan lower his head. You always seem to be injured. It's just a minor injury. Xianxia raised her head and tried her best to touch Tang Yan's hair. It was so black and soft. It was so unfair. Has the case been solved? There's still one last thing missing. Tang Yan did not go into detail because he knew that Xianxia was about to take the exam. There was no need to be distracted by this kind of thing. Then why did you come back? According to your personality, you won't stop until you find evidence. Hearing this question, Tang Yan raised her head and looked at Xianxia. Because I want to sleep with you. Xianxia was stunned. Are you done? Xianxia was about to answer, but Tang Yan had already snatched the hairdryer away. Without waiting for her to speak, Tang Yan carried her by the waist and placed her on the sink in the bathroom. In addition, Xianxia was already wearing a long dress, so it was very convenient for her to do things. So, during the whole process she could not say a word. Her mouth was sealed tightly by Tang Yan. Not only that, if you sleep with a man who has a huge difference in physical strength, you will only be controlled by him in all kinds of ways. There is no chance for you to say no. Just like that, Xianxia was ravaged for the entire night. It was not until early in the morning that Tang Yan let her go. There was only one thought in her mind before she fell asleep. Could it be that she was this man's way of relieving stress? The next morning, when Xianxia woke up from her bed, Tang Yan was no longer at home. This man ran away after sleeping with her. Although the two of them were in a relationship and she did not expect Tang Yan to care about her, after so many times last night, would it kill him to care about her today and ask if she was feeling unwell? Xianxia forced herself to get up. When she walked out of the house, she saw Tang Yan leaning against the car door. He had not left yet. Get in the car. I don't want you to send me off, Xianxia said angrily. I was too ruthless last night. I couldn't control myself. After saying that, Tang Yan opened the car door for Xianxia to enter. When I wasn't around or when I didn't mention this matter, who did you look for when you had such a big need? I haven't touched another woman since I took office, Tang Yan answered as he drove. When did you take office? Don't tell me it was last month. 2 or 3 years, Tang Yan replied. After hearing this answer, Xianxia was satisfied. She closed her eyes and rested in the car. However, when they were about to reach the school gate, Xianxia saw that there were more people, so she said to Tang Yan, "Leave me here. I don't want to cause any criticism." Tang Yan did not listen to her and sent her to the school gate. Many people in the school saw it, but Feng Xianxian had to get out of the car. You win. Feng Xianxian pretended not to see anything under everyone's surprised gazes and went straight to her faculty. However, the rumors had spread just like that. Who was the man who sent Feng Xianxian just now? Has Feng Xianxian's taste changed? This man is really attractive. His cross-country riding and his tall figure are too tempting. He's a walking hormone. This time he's much better than the weakling last time. One look and you can tell that he's strong in that aspect. Feng Xianxian is dating again. Feng Xianxian rolled her eyes when she heard this. Dating my ass. Tang Yan was a stinky man who did not know how to be gentle with women. Whoever got involved with him would be unlucky. Fortunately, Mu Qiqi was not there. Otherwise, if Mu Qiqi knew that Tang Yan sent her to school, she would definitely say that she was a virgin. In fact, Mu Qiqi and Xianxia had just arrived at the hospital. After Grandpa Xing returned to the hospital yesterday, he had been in a deep sleep. Until now he had not woken up. The doctor said that this was normal. He was stimulated when he went home yesterday and his brain did not get any rest. Seeing Grandpa Xing lying on the bed, Mu Qiqi sighed. He wants to see you and sleep. How can there be such a good thing? Xianxia held Mu Qiqi's little fist and rubbed it gently. If you're in a hurry, go to Xing Ting first. No need, Mu Qiqi replied. Since I'm already here, I have to say a few words. The old man has finally done something right. I have to praise him face to face. You naughty girl, you're still so annoying, Grandpa Xing said to Mu Qiqi when he woke up. You don't want to see me? Then I'll leave. Qiqi. Grandpa Xing called out to Mu Qiqi. Take good care of eighth brother. I know that in this world, only you can make eighth brother willing to do anything for you, even if it's his life. But he's my baby. You have to cherish him. What's your baby about him? He's my baby. Mu Qiqi sat beside the old man's bed and answered. Chapter 599. Mu Qiqi had the feeling that the old man was saying his last words. You have to be healthy for at least 2 years if you want to wait for our little carrot. Otherwise, why would I show you? Mu Qiqi pretended to be Tsundra. Old Xing smiled and raised his hand with difficulty. Go. I know you have to go to class. Mu Qiqi looked up at Xianxia. Xianxia winked at her. Then I'm leaving. You stay with him. Xianxia nodded and stroked his little one's hair before letting her go. Seeing that they were still so affectionate, old Xing took the initiative to admit his mistake. When you first fell in love with this girl, I thought you were just fooling around. After all, you are not serious about anything and have never put your heart into any woman. But later on, you actually abandoned your family for the sake of a little girl. Only then did I know that the Xing family could have such an affectionate child. You are not like anyone and it makes me feel defeated. I really wanted to train you, but I failed in the end. You are my most beloved grandson. Even if I used to hate you, it doesn't change the fact that you are the person I want to be close to the most. Eighth brother, promise me one last thing. Xianxia held the old man's hand at that. If you can get through it, I will come to accompany you often. If you can't, I will hate you directly. At that, Grandpa Xing said weakly, Doctor, call the doctor. Xianxia got up and was about to move when the door suddenly opened. Mu Qiqi was standing at the door with the doctor. Why are you back? I felt that something was wrong with Grandpa's words. I was worried, so I called the doctor to make sure he is fine before leaving. Chief Xing, please wait outside. The doctor quickly responded. Xianxia nodded and went outside with Xiaoqi. Mu Qiqi saw that Xianxia did not say a word and knew that the man was very concerned and worried. Don't worry. It's fine. Although I don't like him, he has to be alive to continue making me hate him. Still saying one thing and meaning another. Mu Qiqi did not expose him. She simply held his hand and waited with her man. About 10 minutes later, the doctor came out and said to the two of them, Fortunately, you found it early. It's not a big deal. But remember, you can't be agitated anymore. You must rest in the hospital. It was only because the old man heard what Xianxia said that his desire to live was so strong. Mu Qiqi breathed a sigh of relief and said, I can go to school without worry. Xianxia put his arms around Mu Qiqi's waist and kissed her on the forehead. Go. Since you're so sensible, I'll reward you tonight. Mu Qiqi smiled and left the hospital with a peace of mind. When Xianxia returned to the ward and saw the old man leaning against the bed, He slowly accepted that the old man was no longer the old man who could fight 300 rounds with him. I got my life back. A doctor brought by Chio, said Xianxia. That girl is a blessed person. A grandson who left the Xing family is still a grandson. I will attend the state banquet on New Year's Eve. Is it not worth being happy and proud that I have a new way out? After hearing Xianxia's words, the old man looked at him in shock. Of course it's worth it. Then live well. Only then will you be able to see more. Having said that, Xianxia turned and left the hospital. Su Che had already arranged for the butler to be transferred to Jianshuan. It would be best if the old man could see it. Huang Yao then made an announcement to the public that Sheng Kai would be kicked out of the company. He was the second crown prince of Huang Yao, but now he had ended up like this. It was really sad. Of course, the Sheng family could not announce Sheng Kai's evil deeds to the public. Even if there were many speculations, Huang Yao did not give any response. Now the burden of Huang Yao completely fell on Xing Bowen's shoulders. But he was loyal and righteous. Could he really do well in the business world? When Mu Qiqi arrived at school, it was already the second class in the morning. Seeing her late, Feng Xianxian could not help but ask, "It seems that you really don't want to compete with me. How can you just skip such an important class?" "For me there is something more important than this." Mu Qiqi put down her bag and said, "I can't afford to offend the son of a high-ranking official. What do you think I should do? I heard a lot about you on the way here. What? Did Officer Tang send you to school early?" "I fell down yesterday. I begged him for a long time before he was willing to help me. And you still want to poke at me?" Feng Xianxian said angrily. "With his EQ, do you think he would take the initiative to do such a thing? You live next door. Maybe you have already made some progress but you don't want to tell me?" Feng Xianxian looked at Mu Qiqi strangely. How could she say that she did not have a sharp eye? "It's not what you think," Feng Xianxian said angrily. After Mu Qiqi heard this, she smiled and did not continue asking. Feng Xianxian was a stubborn person. Even if you wanted to ask her, you would not be able to get any results unless you could find evidence against her. How is the case now? You have missed too many details. I have no desire to tell you at all. Feng Xianxian blinked proudly. You can go and see for yourself tonight. Mu Qiqi nodded. After school they went to the police station together. At this time the professor was holding a sharp knife and was extracting fingerprints and DNA. "Have you found the murder weapon? Is Xiao Yu's mother the murderer?" She hoped that it was her, but she was covering up for her lover, the professor answered Feng Xianxian. "Isn't she devoted to Buddhism? That's why people are so strange." She was unwilling to be lonely, so she found a lover, but she opposed her daughter and Qin Qiao being together. On the night of the quarrel, Xiao Yu saw her and her lover having an affair. After that, Xiao Yu went to Qin Qiao and wanted to expose this matter. In order to keep her daughter forever, she worked with her lover to knock out her daughter and Qin Qiao. Then they tattooed and dismembered their bodies. Then they dumped the bodies. What about the cellar and the temple on the mountain? The cellar was the first place where the bodies were dismembered. As for the temple, it was built by Mrs. Zhao's lover. They became friends because of Buddhism. They had their rendezvous there because it was hidden enough. As for the murals in the temple, Mrs. Zhao painted them to curse her ex-husband. Chapter 600. The case is solved. It will be easier for that kid to lead the team. I can rest assured now. The professor put down the weapon in his hand and heaved a sigh of relief. Feng Xianxian suddenly understood why Tang Yan had been working day and night these past few days. It turned out that he was trying to build up his prestige in the team. Officer Tang has always been very capable. Mu Qiqi smiled. Whether it was leading the team, investigating the case, or his attentiveness and strength, Tang Yan's performance during this period of time was very trustworthy. "Captain Tang is treating everyone to a drink tonight," the team analyst shouted happily. "You two are going too?" The professor raised his eyebrows at them. "You don't want a drink. Just eat something. Consider it giving him face." "Of course, why not?" Feng Xianxian said. She had been tortured last night. Of course, she wanted to have a good meal with that person. "Just take it as wishing you all a smooth exam in advance. Don't fail." Soon the group set off for the hotel. The forensics team sat together while the rest of the team sat at another table. They were all men, so they might not think highly of a woman's alcohol tolerance. Captain Tang, welcome to the criminal investigation team. Everyone, let's have a toast. Seeing this, Feng Xianxian rolled her eyes. If I had known, I would have gone back to sleep. Mu Qiqi also said, I've already called Xiao. The family car will be here soon. If you leave, what about me? Feng Xianxian pointed at her own nose and asked. Don't you live next door to Captain Tang? I'm looking for him. With that, Mu Qiqi smiled, revealing her dimples. Feng Xianxian was stunned. She turned around and looked at the next table. Tang Yan was drinking, but he did not show any signs of being drunk. No one could tell how high his alcohol tolerance was. Captain Tang, you really don't have a girlfriend. Don't tell me you have a mistress and didn't let us know? The team members started to jeer. That's right. Captain Tang, if you really don't have one, we can introduce her to you. I know many beautiful women around me. How can a man not have a woman around him? Don't you think so? My current interest is investigating cases. Tang Yan answered them without a trace. So, all of you better put away your petty thoughts. Captain Tang, are you that? Everyone looked at him in confusion and shock. Could it be that Captain Tang, who was not close to women, was gay? Hearing this, Feng Xianxian could not help but sneer. If he was gay, there would be no man in the world. After all, he had worked so hard last night. No, Tang Yan answered straightforwardly. That's good. You scared us to death. Soon Mu Qiqi's family drove the car to the entrance of the hotel, and Mu Qiqi quickly said goodbye to everyone. She was going home to rest. Feng Xianxian was the only woman left at the banquet. I'm going home too. Feng Xianxian really couldn't stand staying with a group of men, so she said to the professor. The professor glanced at Tang Yan and found that he was indifferent. He gave up and said to her, Be careful on the road. I understand. Feng Xianxian got up from her seat. She didn't say anything to Tang Yan and went out to hail a taxi. However, when she got home, she realized that the keys were with Tang Yan today. If only he had known, he wouldn't have tried to act tough. Now that he was in a world of ice and snow, he could only wait outside the door. It was not Captain Tang's fault. After all, she was the one who said that she didn't have the keys. However, it was winter, the coldest season. Feng Xianxian waited outside the door for half an hour and couldn't stand it anymore. She could only call Tang Yan. Can't you come back soon? The keys are with you. Okay. Tang Yan nodded. I'm so cold. I'm driving. Tang Yan hung up after saying that. Driving? Didn't he drink? Thinking of this, Feng Xianxian was worried until she saw Tang Yan's off-road vehicle appear in front of her. When she saw Tang Yan get out of the car, she said, You're a law enforcement officer. How dare you drink and drive? Who told you that I drank? Tang Yan asked in return. Just now, I drank plain water, Tang Yan replied. Don't run away by yourself next time. I asked you to make the keys, but you're too lazy to do it. Who am I to you? Do I have to have the keys to your house? Feng Xianxian snorted. You're really not likable at all. Other than being strong in bed, I wonder if your ex is blind. She's not blind. She's just dead. Hearing the word, dead, Feng Xianxian was stunned. Was Tang Yan going to tell her story? However, before Feng Xianxian could react, Tang Yan went to take his luggage and went out. I'm going to leave for a few days. You take the exam by yourself. Where are you going? There's a case that they asked me to investigate together. I'm going to help them now, Tang Yan replied. Are you the only one in the team going? Only me. Tang Yan did not say how dangerous this matter was, nor did he say anything else. Anyway, Feng Xianxian felt that this man had nothing to do with her, so she did not ask too much. What did it have to do with her? However, after Tang Yan drove away, Feng Xianxian thought to herself, was that man so fierce last night because he knew that he was going to leave today? Thinking of this possibility, Feng Xianxian's face turned red. Late at night, Banyan Courtyard. After Papa Sheng and Mama Sheng heard about Old Master Sheng, they sighed deeply, especially Mama Sheng. Although she used to hate Old Master Sheng, after knowing that he had gone through so many twists and turns, she finally calmed down. He deserved it after suffering so much. I just didn't hear from you that Xing Kai has become like that. It's really sad. Now only third brother is supporting the family. It's hard on him. Papa Sheng sighed. Dad, do you want to go back? Of course not. I prefer my current job. I live for myself. Papa Xing quickly waved his hand. I just think that third brother is soft and second brother is strong. One day he will stir up trouble again. Even you can see it. How can I not see it? Mama Xing chuckled. Alright, let's rest. Don't delay the couple. Mama Xing patted Papa Xing's shoulder. For so long, perhaps because she was afraid of seeing some inappropriate scenes, Mama Xing rarely walked outside after she returned to her room. Because she knew her son's personality. He wanted to hug and kiss for no reason. Mom, you're quite self-aware. Isn't it because you always have no scruples in front of me? Muchichi glared at him. Xianxia grabbed Muchichi and sat on his lap. I told you in the morning that there will be a reward when we go home tonight. I don't want your reward. This is a reward for yourself. Muchichi snorted. Chapter 601. Are you serious? Muchichi saw that he had loosened the buttons on his shirt and quickly became defensive. There are other people at home. If you are talking about Dad and Mom, they won't come out. Who? Before she could finish her sentence, Muchichi was completely sealed by a kiss. When the man's beautiful chest muscles were exposed, she immediately surrendered. Who could be immune to a beautiful body? Especially Muchichi. She fell for Xingzhao's trick. But during the process, Muchichi still felt very embarrassed, so she did not let the man take off her clothes. The two of them also suppressed their voices and could only grit their teeth and endure the whole time. But the more they did this, the more excited Muchichi felt. When they were done, she leaned into Xingzhao's arms and sighed. I can't look at this sofa directly in the future. I'll get a new one tomorrow. I'll let you experience it differently every time. Muchichi said, I'm not talking to you anymore. I'm going back to my room to take a shower. Xingzhao smiled. He was still as dangerous and evil as before. He was only a man in his 30s, but now he was more mature and reserved. Muchichi was about to move when Xingzhao carried her. Let's continue in the room. It's good that the old man can be healthy, right? Who cares about him? Muchichi hugged Xingzhao's neck. This man was still so awkward and duplicitous. The old man went to the gates of hell again in the morning. But fortunately he came back. However, when he thought of how every time he was seriously ill, Xingzhao was always by his side. Even the little girl he hated the most, Muchichi, was also running around for his sake. He felt that he had really let down the Xian family, especially Grandpa Xian. Perhaps he had really died several times, so he had a new understanding of life. In the past he was too obsessed with power. Now that he thought about it, it was still the happiest thing to have children and grandchildren around him. Another thing that touched Grandpa Xian was that Xingzhao had also transferred the butler to this hospital. When he was free he could visit his old friend. Now he completely handed over the matters of Huang Yao to Xing Bowen. Although third brother did not seem to be a good businessman who knew the future. In Huang Yao's office, Xing Bowen was thinking about cashing out Xing Kai's shares. But Xing Kai was a major shareholder after all. His private assets could not take away Xing Kai's shares. President, I think you can call the chairman, the secretary suggested. It's a good thing that the shares have returned to the chairman. It's not up to us to decide who will take over. It still depends on Xing Kai's plans. After all, the shares are his. With all due respect, he might retaliate, the secretary reminded Xing Bowen. I'll call someone first, Xing Bowen said. Although he did not want to see Xing Kai again, the matter of the shares had to be settled. At this moment, Xing Kai was still calming down in the Gu family. He had nothing left except for the shares of Huang Yao. At noon, Xing Bowen called to ask about the shares and wanted to know what his plans were. In that instant, Xing Kai only had the most vicious thought in his mind. He was rehearsing how he would take revenge on the Xing family 1,000,000 times. Thinking that he must become the owner of that place in the future, Xing Kai answered Xing Bowen directly, I want to retain my shareholders' rights and interests. I don't need to cash out. Is it interesting? Xing Bowen asked Xing Kai. It's not up to you to decide whether it's interesting or not. President Xing, this matter is not over yet. After that, Xing Kai hung up. At this time, Gu Xiling walked behind Xing Kai and said, in 2 days Grandpa will bring you to meet some people. Kai, we can still make a comeback. Xing Kai turned around and held Gu Xiling's hand. At this time only you will still be by my side and never leave me. So you have to prove to me that I, Gu Xiling, did not marry the wrong man. We will settle the score with the Xing family slowly. Hatred was the best way to make people grow. Xing Kai saw the gap between him and Xianxia. But one day he would let Xianxia know how he had walked step by step towards success. Tang Yan left for 4 whole days. There was no phone call or message from him. There was no news at all. Feng Xianxian went to class and took her exams. After class she went home. After Xiao Yu's dismemberment case, she did not go to the forensics laboratory again. Her wish to surpass Mu Qiqi in the exams was real. Although she did not think that Mu Qiqi would try her best, she even suspected that Mu Qiqi purposely stayed behind her every time she took the exams. She wanted to keep a low profile and not stand out. This was a kind of ability. On the day of the exams, her classmates suggested going out for a gathering. In fact, there was only half a year left in the second year. Mu Qiqi did not know any other classmates except for Feng Xianxian. Of course, although Feng Xianxian knew them, their relationship was not good. Actually, everyone was curious why Mu Qiqi and Feng Xianxian, who were enemies, got along so well. They used to be enemies. Are you going? Feng Xianxian asked Mu Qiqi. The night is long. I have to go out to spend some time. It's a long night for you. I have people waiting for me at home. Mu Qiqi did not hesitate to attack Feng Xianxian. Why? Is Officer Tang not home? I don't know where he went. Feng Xianxian shrugged. Can't you restrain yourself from being so heartless? Do you want to die by calling someone? Someone had to pick up the call. Right, have fun tonight. I'm going home. There was nothing else in Mu Qiqi's mind except for Xing Xiao. Then when Mu Qiqi was about to get up, she received a call from the professor. She thought that there was another murder case, but the professor called to ask about Feng Xianxian's whereabouts. Because Feng Xianxian's phone could not be reached. Feng Xianxian thought for a while and picked up the call. Tang Yan said that the key is with you, so I called you. Did I disturb you? Feng Xianxian was speechless. Was it really good to let the professor know about this? Professor, Officer Tang and I are neighbors. I know. He told me. I'm going to his house to pack some clothes for him. I wonder if it's convenient for you to give me the key. What happened to him? He was shot by a gunman and injured on his left shoulder. He's in the hospital now, explained the professor. Feng Xianxian was dumbfounded when she heard that. Xianxian. I'll go get it. I'll go. Tell me which hospital he's in. Feng Xianxian took the initiative to take the task. That's even better. It saves me the trouble of making another trip. Then the professor told her the address of the hospital Tang Yan was in. Feng Xianxian hung up and quickly chased after Mu Qiqi. Send me home. It's urgent. Chapter 602. When they arrived at Feng Xianxian and Tang Yan's courtyard, Feng Xianxian rushed out of the car. Seeing that they were so anxious, Su Che said to Mu Qiqi, "We have to wait, right?" Mu Qiqi immediately laughed. Su Che, you really understand me more and more. Who else could make Feng Xianxian so anxious? She seemed to be carefree all day long, but her actions at this moment had completely exposed her inner thoughts. In less than 10 minutes, Feng Xianxian packed a bag of things and walked out of Tang Yan's house. She found Mu Qiqi's car was still parked outside. Where? Give you a ride? Feng Xianxian gritted her teeth. This person was definitely doing it on purpose. It's rush hour right now. By the time you get a cab, it'll be half an hour later. Can you endure such torture? If Tang Yan had not driven the car out, she would not have to ask Mu Qiqi for help. Unable to overcome her worries, Feng Xianxian carried her backpack and got into Mu Qiqi's car. You're collecting things that belong to men. To be precise, the place you just entered is a man's home. You already know the answer. Feng Xianxian rolled her eyes at her. Don't you have the keys to Officer Tang's house? What are you talking about? He's injured and still lying in the hospital. Can't you hurry up? Feng Xianxian was furious. Mu Qiqi smiled when she heard that. You should have been so straightforward earlier. We're almost at the entrance of the hospital. Su Che's driving skills were not just for show. He was very fierce. Mu Qiqi had seen it once. Was today the second time? When they arrived at the hospital, Feng Xianxian immediately jumped out of the car and went straight to the inpatient department. Wait for me for a while. After all, Officer Tang is someone I know. I'll go and visit him, Mu Qiqi said to Su Che. Then she got out of the car and chased after Feng Xianxian. When she arrived at the door of the ward, there was no one else. Feng Xianxian calmed down for a moment before knocking on the door. Soon Tang Yan's deep voice came from the room. "Please come in." Feng Xianxian pushed the door open and entered. Her heart sank when she saw Tang Yan's entire upper body wrapped in gauze. Tang Yan did not expect Feng Xianxian to come. He was stunned for a second and said to her, "Have a seat. I brought you some clothes and toiletries." "No, I won't be staying here for long," Tang Yan replied calmly. "I don't think I need these." "Where's the professor?" Feng Xianxian asked when she saw Tang Yan standing there alone. "I told him to go back. He keeps nagging at me. It's very annoying." "So, no one took care of you?" Tang Yan understood the meaning behind her words and said, "I'm used to it. What she means is that she can stay." I'm afraid Officer Tang didn't understand what she meant. At this moment, Mu Qiqi rushed into the ward and smiled at the two of them. "You're here too." A certain someone hurried home to pack your things and rushed over. "That's why I followed." Mu Qiqi smiled. "Are you going to die if you don't say anything?" Feng Xianxian was a little embarrassed. The two of them were just bedmates. She should not have crossed the line. However, she heard that he was injured and knew that he had no relatives. That was why she had possessed the Mary Sue. But now she felt that he did not need it. "I've sent the things to you. You should rest well. I'll take your car back." After Feng Xianxian said that to Tang Yan, she gritted her teeth and said to Mu Qiqi, "It doesn't matter." Mu Qiqi shrugged. Tang Yan glanced at Feng Xianxian subconsciously. He did not say anything and did not ask her to stay. When the two of them were about to leave, Tang Yan texted Feng Xianxian, "I'm hungry." When Feng Xianxian saw the text, she actually laughed. But Mu Qiqi did not see it for a moment. "Send me to the class reunion," Feng Xianxian said to Mu Qiqi. Mu Qiqi looked at Feng Xianxian suspiciously. She felt that she was suspicious. "Actually, you're with Officer Tang, right?" Feng Xianxian was speechless. "Although the two of you acted as if there was nothing going on, I could smell the same scent coming from the two of you. There was also a very strong adultery. You can tell. Why are you still playing with me?" Feng Xianxian glared at Mu Qiqi. "You're so free. How far have you progressed?" "Far from you and your Xianxia. We're just enemies. Let's not talk about feelings. Are you satisfied with the answer? Can you let me get out of the car now?" Feng Xianxian was about to push the door open. However, Mu Qiqi still said something. "You're alone and he's also alone. If the two of you are together, be good companions. After all, he's in a high-risk job. He might lose his life on the front line one day. If you really want to have a result, don't waste too much time. Otherwise, it'll be too late for regrets. Love doesn't wait for anyone. You're always preaching. It's really annoying." Of course, Feng Xianxian was just saying it. With Mu Qiqi to control her, she felt that she had one more sister. Mu Qiqi smiled and did not continue. "Aren't you leaving? I'm going home too, okay?" After all, she had not thought of a way to give away her ring. Feng Xianxian got out of the car and closed the door. Then she quickly ran back to the hospital. Standing at the door of the ward, she bent down and asked Tang Yan, "What do you want to eat?" Tang Yan looked at her calmly. After a long while, he said, "You." This time, the joint investigation was related to drugs. Those gangsters were outlaws and they were armed. He was shot in the shoulder while trying to save a pregnant woman. Blood splashed on his face. He had fought with death so many times, but he had never been afraid. Anyway, he was alone. Saving one was one. Even if he had to sacrifice himself, it was not a loss. However, at that moment his mind thought of Feng Xianxian's face. This bad woman not only did all kinds of bad things, but she also stole his heart. When Feng Xianxian heard that, she looked at Tang Yan and Tang Yan looked back at her. Their eyes met. In fact, they knew very well that once they were involved in something, they could not let it go. When Mu Qiqi returned home, Xianxia was taking a shower. Seeing that perfect figure in front of her, Mu Qiqi tried hard to control herself. "Su Che took you for a ride. It was quite fun, huh?" Hearing that magnetic voice, Mu Qiqi felt her whole body go numb. She instantly jumped onto Xianxia. "I'm happy for Feng Xianxian." "Are you happy when your enemy is happy?" Xianxia held her little butt and shook his head helplessly. "Some people seem to be enemies." Mu Qiqi hugged Xianxiao's neck. "Officer Tang is a hero, right?" Feng Xianxian is also half a beauty, so we're a good match. Then what am I in your heart? Xianxia could not help but tease the little one. Mu Qiqi thought for a moment and answered seriously, glory. Chapter 603. Mu Qiqi hung on Xingzhao's body and said, help me take it off. In Xingzhao's eyes, Mu Qiqi was a completely spoiled little thing. However, she would only show such a naive look in front of Xingzhao. Xingzhao was willing to dote on her. After the shower, he said to the little thing, I'll be home late these days. You're on holiday. Be more obedient at home, okay? What happened to Zhongting? I met some malicious competitors, but it's not a big deal, Xingzhao replied. I've never failed in the business world. This was the confidence that Xingzhao should have. Mu Qiqi kissed him on the cheek and said, then don't throw Su Che at me. I'll go to the police station and think of a way myself. I'll only be at ease if Su Che follows you. Suspecting your man, huh? I've never doubted you. I trust you more than anyone else. However, worrying is another matter. I can't control it. Xingzhao carried Mu Qiqi and brought her out of the bathroom. Did you put honey on your mouth? However, what Mu Qiqi did not know was that Xingzhao was not dealing with some rich second-generation tycoon. Every one of his opponents now had an unimaginable background. The hospital was especially quiet late at night. The professor was supposed to come, but Tang Yan refused to see him. If he came, he would not be able to rest well. Tang Yan only knew that he had a nurse to take care of him. It was more useful than being an uncle in the hospital. The professor thought about it and felt that what Tang Yan said made sense, so he did not disturb him and let him rest well. Feng Xianxian looked at the man lying on the bed and thought, this man is full of merits. Feng Xianxian was lying by the bed. When Tang Yan woke up and saw this woman, he felt at ease for no reason. He was used to being alone for half his life. He had never thought that there would be someone who would make him so worried. Feng Xianxian felt that someone was watching her, so she propped herself up and looked at Tang Yan. Where does it hurt? Tang Yan shook his head and said, the moment the bullet pierced my shoulder, I only thought of one thing. What? It would be great if I could sleep with you again. Feng Xianxian was speechless. In the future, if anyone said that this man had no EQ, she would be angry with them. This man was so good at flirting. When you're better. You can't sleep here. You should go back. Tang Yan looked at Feng Xianxian and said seriously, I don't need you to stay by my side. Do you think I want to? Where do you expect me to get a taxi in the middle of the night? Are you sure you want me to go back alone? Feng Xianxian was angry for no reason. This man had just messed you up and now he was pouring a bucket of cold water on you. Is it because you can't go or do you not want to go? Is there a difference? Feng Xianxian asked. Tang Yan was stunned and did not speak for a long time. After a long time, he moved half of his bed and said, come up. Feng Xianxian looked at the wounds on his body and really did not dare to lie with him. As usual, I'll sleep on the sofa. You don't have to worry about me. This girl had a stubborn temper and she would explode at the slightest touch. In the past, she used to go out and fool around and she even had a rich second-generation boyfriend. In fact, she even had an abortion. She had done something that most girls did not dare to try. She should be the object of men's play, and they would definitely avoid her when they got married. However, for some reason, the more Feng Xianxian was like this, the more Tang Yan wanted to hold her in his palm, hurt her, and *ck her hard. However, the more he thought about it, the more he could not force Feng Xianxian, because once she found out about his feelings, she might run away without a care. Tang Yan looked at Feng Xianxian lying on the sofa and curled up into a ball. He did not force her but looked at her naughty face for a long time. She really needed to be taught a lesson. The next day, the first day of the holiday, Mu Qiqi just wanted to know what was going on in the hospital, so she went to the hospital early in the morning and bought breakfast for the two of them. When Feng Xianxian saw her in the ward, she had just woken up from the sofa. My Mrs. Xing, it's only 7 o'clock in the morning. Aren't you here too early? I'm afraid that you'll be hungry. Aren't you grateful? Mu Qiqi winked at her. Anyway, there are no cases at the station now and we're on vacation. Isn't it good for me to come and see you earlier? You're here to see me make a fool of myself, aren't you? Feng Xianxian combed her hair with her hand. At the side, Tang Yan sat on the hospital bed and looked at the two of them. Go back. Uncle will come later. So, you were here last night. Mu Qiqi smiled. Look at you. You don't look like someone who can keep watch at night. You don't know how to take care of people at all. You know. After saying that, Xianxia went to the bathroom to wash her face. Then I'm really leaving. Tang Yan nodded lightly. Looking at the two of them as if nothing had happened, Mu Qiqi suddenly became curious. So when she left the hospital with Xianxia, Mu Qiqi asked, "Now no matter how I look at Captain Tang, I don't think he's a good man." At the mention of this, Xianxia was angry. "He's a beast, a naked beast. Tell me about it." At the mention of this, Xianxia was a little discouraged. Although she knew that she couldn't pursue a person's past, when she thought of how many girlfriends Tang Yan had in the past, she felt her chest tighten and very uncomfortable. He's always been an expert in love. The number of women he's slept with can't even be counted with 10 fingers. What else do you want me to say? Mu Qiqi said, "I really can't tell. He's a dangerous person." After saying this, Xianxia nestled in the car to rest. However, the two of them were still halfway when they received a call from the branch office. "The two of you are free now. Hurry up and come to the branch office to help. There's a new case." But now that Tang Yan was injured, who would lead the team? Mu Qiqi glanced at Xianxia and pressed the dark circles on her face. "Go back to sleep. I'll go over." "No need. I'm very energetic now." She was very energetic because of that man. Mu Qiqi thought to herself. She had thought that Tang Yan was at a disadvantage when Xianxia and Tang Yan were together because he looked upright and loyal. Who knew that he was also a Casanova? Now Mu Qiqi didn't know which one of them was more absurd. The two of them immediately rushed to the police station. At this time Tang Yan was actually there. After receiving the news, he immediately rushed over. However, she saw that he was wearing a thick trench coat, so no one could tell that he was injured at all. Although his face was not good, he was full of energy. Did this person not want to live? Xianxia was resentful and angry, but she didn't know how to vent it because she and Tang Yan had nothing to do with each other. Chapter 604. Let's go to the crime scene first, Tang Yan ordered the team. We'll tell you how the body was found on the way. Captain Tang, the murder happened in the Yi family's factory. Which Yi family? Tang Yan frowned. Yixingtian, the Yi family. Mu Qiqi was stunned when she heard that. Yixingtian used to be Papa Mu's good friend. She still remembered that every time he visited the Mu family he would bring his son Yi Jingqing. Yi Jingqing liked Mu Tongxue a lot. Are these recent murders all targeting rich families? The team members couldn't help but complain. Cut the crap. Let's get to work, Tang Yan said coldly. Xianxia did not know if he really regarded investigating the case as more important than his life, or if he was just putting on a show. Was his body really not that important to him? Xianxia was a little annoyed, but she did not show it on her face. Mu Qiqi, on the other hand, had a complicated look in her eyes. Xianxia did not want to focus on Tang Yan anymore, so she asked Mu Qiqi, "What expression?" "I don't know," Mu Qiqi explained. "It's just that the Yi family started their business in the fashion industry and had a good relationship with the Mu family. I often met them when I was young." "So she's your old acquaintance. Speaking of the Mu family, did you really leave your sister in the slums?" Xianxia's gossipy heart was ignited. "What else can I do? I can't kill her," Mu Qiqi replied. "All in all, your life is full of drama. It's just that you haven't seen her for a year and a half. Don't you want to know how she is now?" Mu Qiqi shook her head. Mu Tongshue's incident was a long time ago. He did not want to recall it. But someone insisted on helping her recall it. When they arrived at the Yi family's factory, the police had already cordoned off the area where the body was found. At this time, the young master of the Yi family walked to Mu Qiqi and said, "Qiqi, it's been a while." Mu Qiqi looked up and saw a man with a sunny face. She said, "Brother Jingqing? It's me. I just came back. I didn't expect you to be a forensic doctor." That man was about 24 or 25 years old. He was dressed very meticulously. It could be seen that he was a very tasteful person. His face was also very handsome. He was wearing a black sweater and a beige retro trench coat. He looked like a gentleman and noble. "It's just a joke," Mu Qiqi answered casually. "We haven't seen each other for many years. It's been 4 years. I've been away from Jianchuan for 4 years. It's only when I came back that I found out that the Mu clan has undergone such a huge change. Even Tongxue has disappeared. Young Master Yi, I'm sorry to interrupt your reunion, but I still want to ask you about the specific situation. Tang Yan walked up to them and said to Yi Jingqing. No problem. Gigi, let's talk another day. I'll call you and treat you to a meal. Feng Xianxian watched the Yi family leave with Tang Yan. She turned to Mu Qiqi and asked, Are you sure you want to have dinner with him? Mu Qiqi shook her head. He has always liked Mu Tongxue. He bullied me a lot because of her. He was just being polite. The Yi family is weird, Feng Xianxian said. Feng Xianxian said. Also, you better not tell your CEO Sheng about this. Otherwise, I think he will definitely get jealous. I got goosebumps when you called him Jingqing just now. You're exaggerating. Let's go and check the body. The body was just downstairs of the staff dormitory. And judging from the appearance of the body, it was consistent with the characteristics of a fall. It seemed that it was not a complicated case. Therefore, the people in the team quickly packed up. A case like this should be reported to the police in the district. Why did you report it to the criminal investigation team? The police in the team complained again. It was mainly because the case looked simple. Whether it's the criminal investigation team or the ordinary criminal police, it's our fault for failing to protect the people. After saying that, Tang Yan got into his off-road vehicle. But only Feng Xianxian noticed that there was blood seeping out of his coat. Mu Qiqi was about to get into the police car, but Yi Jingqing stopped her. Qiqi, I really want to know where Tongxue is. If you have any news about her, remember to tell me. Mu Qiqi smiled and did not say anything. Since he knew that she and the Mu family were in such a mess, he should know that there was no connection between her and Mu Tongxue. But the point was, why did he ask her when he knew that Mu Tongxue lived in the slums? Was there a deeper meaning behind it? Feng Xianxian saw that she was full of thoughts, so she leaned on her arm. What are you thinking about? You look so focused. I heard a senior say that the people from the Yi family bypassed the police in the district and reported the case to the criminal investigation team. What? Did you find anything? Mu Qiqi shook her head. She felt that this matter was directed at her. But she could not say such a narcissistic thought out loud. Yi Jingqing had a good relationship with Mu Tongxue since they were young. Now that Mu Tongxue was being tortured by her, she did not believe that Yi Jingqing knew nothing about it. What are you thinking about? You look so focused. I'm thinking that you should control Officer Tang. Didn't he just get shot in the shoulder? Mu Qiqi put aside her doubts for the time being and did not continue to suspect Yi Jingqing. Do you think he will listen to me? Feng Xianxian said impatiently. There is no one in his heart, only the case. So, why should she take care of someone who was alive and kicking? She was just asking for trouble. Because of that, Feng Xianxian went straight to the forensics laboratory when she arrived at the entrance of the police station. Although the body was almost certain to have fallen to death, whether it was a suicide or a homicide still needed to be investigated. Tang Yan saw Feng Xianxian going to the autopsy room. At that time their eyes met, but Feng Xianxian's eyes were cold. He did not care about Tang Yan at all. Mu Qiqi, on the other hand, kept the Yi family's matter in her heart. She had said that she would not allow anything that could threaten her safety to exist. Protecting her was equivalent to protecting Xianxia. Yi Jingqing clearly wanted to remind her that Mu Tongxue still existed in this world. Was he fighting for justice for Mu Tongxue? In the afternoon, Mu Qiqi went to Zhongting with a lot on her mind. When the secretary saw her deep in thought, she opened the door of Xing Zhao's office for her. "Yo, madam." Chapter 605. Mu Qiqi walked to Xing Zhao and sat on his lap quietly. "What's wrong?" Xing Zhao hugged her, but he did not stop his work. "I went out with the criminal investigation team today and met an old acquaintance of the Mu family." When Xing Zhao heard the Mu family, he knew that it must be related to Mu Tongxue. She did not care about anything else. That person is Yi Jingqing. He used to like Mu Tongxue very much. He went abroad 4 years ago and only came back recently. He should know about the Mu family's current situation, but he still asked me about Mu Tongxue. I think he did it on purpose. Xing Zhao put down the pen in his hand and looked at Mu Qiqi. "So what are you worried about?" "He and Mu Tongxue bullied me before," said Mu Qiqi. "What kind of bully?" Xing Zhao looked at her. His eyes were sharp and deep like a deep lake. He will help Mu Tongxue to frame me, said Mu Qiqi. It's not that I still hold a grudge against him. I just feel that he's deliberately mystifying things. In fact, he has ill intentions. Xianxia patted Mu Qiqi's head and comforted her. Don't be afraid, okay? That's true. He is 24 or 25 years old now. He won't be the same as when he was young. Mu Qiqi seemed relaxed because she had someone to rely on now. However, the shadow of childhood was not something that could be gotten rid of easily. In order to comfort the little one in his arms, Xianxia stopped his work. He hugged her and said softly, "Tell me about your childhood except for the parts one knows. I've been so happy these 2 years. How can I remember so much?" "Then do you want me to investigate?" asked Xianxia. Mu Qiqi looked at her man and sighed. She leaned on Xianxia and said, "I don't remember how old I was then. That winter, during the new year, Mu Tongxue took one of Grandpa's wristwatches and broke it. She was so anxious that she cried. At that time, Yi Jingqing was a guest in the Mu family, so he helped Mu Tongxue and put the wristwatch in my bag. Grandpa couldn't find the wristwatch, so he asked Mommy. Then Yi Jingqing told Mommy that he saw me playing with it. What happened? In the end, I got slapped twice and was locked in my room. I spent the new year alone." "What else?" Xianxia tightened his grip on Mu Qiqi. "Also, in the swimming pool at home, Mu Tongxue asked Yi Jingqing to teach her how to swim. So she grabbed me as a demonstration and pressed me into the water." "What else?" "Also, on Grandpa's birthday, he locked me in school. In the end, I came home late and was scolded for having sex with my classmates outside. I knelt in the living room for the whole night." "That's enough." After hearing that, Xianxia felt that it was enough. Even so, that scum still dared to deliberately target Xiaoqier? Perhaps he just didn't want to see the sun tomorrow. "Your fear of him now comes from the shadow of your childhood. But idiot, that's all in the past. You're not who you used to be. Are you afraid of being bullied? Are my people for others to bully?" It was just that the sudden appearance of this person reminded him of the past. Mu Qiqi thought that she certainly didn't need to be afraid. Mu Tongxue only had herself to blame for what happened today. "I know I'm not afraid. I have Captain Tang in the police force. I have you outside the police force. Go to the lounge and sleep for a while. Let's go home together after work." Xianxia pinched her round belly and urged her. Mu Qiqi nodded and left Xianxiao's lap. Then she went to the lounge. "What about Xianxia?" He called the intercom. "Zuche, come in. CO. Go and investigate Yi Jingqing. Don't miss any details. If possible, find out exactly when he first had sex with a woman. It might take a few days for that level of detail," said Suche. "I can wait." When Xianxia said those words, there was a strong sense of danger in his tone. Since the other party came to him, he had to greet him. Did he want to stand up for Mu Tongxue? It depended on whether he was qualified to do so. Also, find out where Mu Tongxue is now. Make sure she's in our hands. Got it. It was not hard to imagine how Mu Qiqi spent the past 17 years before she met him. He did not pursue the matter because Xiaoqier had undergone a major change in the past 2 years. But now she came to him on her own accord? She was asking for it. In the afternoon at the police station, the forensic report showed that the victim did not commit suicide. Instead, he was pushed down from the rooftop. Since it was a homicide, the case would be taken over by the Major Crimes Unit. The Yi family was very cooperative. After all, it happened in their own house. They hoped that the police could solve the case as soon as possible. Since he is Mu Qiqi's old acquaintance, it should be easier for him to go to the Yi family. But Feng Xianxian shook her head. "Don't count on Xiaoqi for this. Her relationship with that Yi guy is definitely not good." "If that's the case, we can't force her," said the professor. Just then Tang Yan entered the laboratory with his injury. "I'm here to get the autopsy report." The cause of death was a fall. But he was tied up before he died. There are different degrees of strangulation marks on his neck and wrists. The time of death was between 5 and 7 in the morning. The child was 21 years old, in the prime of his youth. He was a university graduate. As for whether he was drugged or not, we can only tell you after the autopsy. Have you informed his family? They are on the way, said Tang Yan. Then you can start with the people around the child. Tang Yan nodded and was about to leave. But when his eyes met Feng Xianxian's, he realized that she was deliberately avoiding his gaze. He even looked away. Since when did he offend this person? At 6 in the evening, a group of people went out for dinner. Tang Yan called Feng Xianxian to the door. Tell me what's wrong. What's wrong? Feng Xianxian asked in confusion. The way you look at me and my attitude. Is it important to you how I look at you? Feng Xianxian leaned against the wall and looked at Tang Yan. You can do whatever you want. Solving the case is the most important thing. How can I stop you? The wounds on your body have opened, haven't they? Who are you trying so hard for? If you have someone in your heart, you won't be so reckless. So, Officer Tang, what do you think is wrong with my attitude towards you? Tang Yan turned around quietly and went back to the police station. Feng Xianxian did not stay at the door. She went out to look for food. She felt that she was a little pretentious, but Tang Yan's reckless way of doing things made her see a lot of things clearly. Feelings were not something that one could hope for. They were just partners in bed. Chapter 606. She was worried, but she was not in the position to care. This made Feng Xianxian very uncomfortable. In addition, Tang Yan did not care about his own body. Feng Xianxian almost exploded, especially when she saw the blood on his shoulder. After dinner, Feng Xianxian returned to the police station. Seeing that Tang Yan was eating in the station, she took a detour. However, Tang Yan reached out and pulled her to sit beside him. What are you doing? Someone saw us. They're all out, Tang Yan said. What do you want to say to me? Just say it. Feng Xianxian rolled her eyes. She was actually more worried about being seen by passers-by. She did not want to have anything to do with this man in public. I know my own body. If I can't be discharged, I won't force myself, Tang Yan said in a low voice as he took a sip of coffee. So, was this his explanation? Who cares about you? Feng Xianxian snorted. Don't forget that we have nothing to do with each other. Having said that, Feng Xianxian got up from the stool. Tang Yan did not stop her. He only felt that this woman was really heartless and difficult to serve. Feng Xianxian thought that Tang Yan would stay in the station that night or go straight to the crime scene without sleeping. However, when it was time to get off work, he went straight to the forensics laboratory and asked Feng Xianxian, I'm injured and can't drive. Can you send me? The professor looked at Feng Xianxian and Feng Xianxian looked at the professor in confusion. The professor knew that they were neighbors, so he was so unscrupulous. If you can't drive, you should go to the hospital. Or you can ask your subordinates to drive. Feng Xianxian refused directly. Xianxian, this kid has sent you many times before. What's wrong with you sending him once? I just don't want to. Tang Yan did not say anything. He turned around and walked out. He really found his subordinates and drove the off-road vehicle home. What's wrong with you two? The professor was a little confused. Weren't you good before? No matter what, you're colleagues who care for each other. I just don't like him. Feng Xianxian rolled her eyes. It was not until 10 o'clock that she went home. However, when she reached the door, she hesitated. Should she knock on the door? In the end, Tang Yan sent her a text message. If you're not going home, at least tell me where you went. Open the door. After hesitating for a long time, Feng Xianxian still typed these two words. Tang Yan opened the door for her half-naked. The gauze on his shoulder was soaked in blood, which made Feng Xianxian very angry. What are you angry about? Tang Yan returned to the living room, sat on the sofa and looked at Feng Xianxian. I don't like cold wars and I don't like inexplicable anger. You can make things clear. There's no need to keep mocking me. That's who I am, Feng Xianxian said bluntly. Xianxian. This was the first time Feng Xianxian heard Tang Yan call her that. Feng Xianxian took a deep breath and entered the room first. She closed the door and calmed herself down. I'm just very confused. I don't know why I'm angry at you. I knew it had nothing to do with you, but when I heard that you were injured, I ran faster than anyone else. You took a bullet yesterday and came to work today. Are you some kind of Iron Man? Aren't you afraid that others will worry about you? I'm not in any position to ask you, so I might as well keep my distance from you. At least this way I won't be angry. After saying that, Feng Xianxian was about to go to the bedroom, but when she passed by Tang Yan, he grabbed her wrist. What you said is too complicated. I don't understand. You. Tang Yan lowered his head and kissed Feng Xianxian's lips. He sucked on them and let go after a while. Feng Xianxian's face was red, but she could smell the medicine on Tang Yan's body. Let go of me. If you say it in a simpler way, I can answer an important question for you. Was this an exchange? Xianxia laughed self-deprecatingly, but she still simplified her meaning seriously. I want to control you, but I don't have the right to do so. I don't want to be your girlfriend, so I'm angry at myself and take it out on you. Do you understand now? I'll let you control me. I don't want the right. Isn't that weird? Xianxia thought about it carefully after listening to him. Are you going to do something about it? Will you really listen? Xianxia narrowed her eyes. She was a little doubtful. No, very doubtful. I'll try my best. After hearing Tang Yan's words, Xianxia was in a good mood. That's what you said. Tang Yan looked at Xianxia seriously. It was a tacit agreement. Then what do you want to do now? Take a shower. But it's not convenient for my hands and I'll touch my wound. Go in, strip and wait. Xianxia pushed him to the bathroom. I'll change. I'll be right there. In fact, Xianxia thought that she was not involved in it. But she did not realize that at first she just wanted a bed partner. But now she had begun to be greedy and wanted to interfere with Tang Yan's life and care about his past. Although the two of them were not officially a couple, couldn't the people around them see that the two of them were a couple in name only? Only she was still deceiving herself. The next morning, Su Che sent news that he had searched the entire slum but could not find any news of Mu Tongxue. Although Su Che did not know who she was, he heard that she looked very similar to Mu Qiqi. There's no trace of her life since a few months ago. And I'm sure that she was not taken away by the Yi family. So Yi Jingqing thought that Xiaoqia was still hiding Mu Tongxue. Search for her, Xing Shao ordered. Xing Shao ordered, but investigate Yi Jingqing first. This man had made Xiaoqia suffer so much. He could not let it go just like that. Moreover, he was the one who provoked him first. Mu Qiqi did not know that Xing Shao was thinking about dealing with the Yi family. After she got up, she planned to go to the police station. You don't have to avoid Yi Jingqing. I've said it before. My woman should be able to do whatever she wants. You should go to the field when you need to, and you should go to the Yi family when you need to. If he dares to do anything to you, he will be punished 10 times or 100 times more. After listening to Xing Shao, Mu Qiqi hugged him tightly. Yesterday was just a natural reaction. But from today onwards she would not be afraid anymore. So she would participate in this case and the Yi family would also go. When she arrived at the police station, the seniors in the station came to look for her. Qiqi, we've tried to contact the young master of the Yi family, but he's been tight-lipped. He's not willing to cooperate. We know that you used to be related to the Yi family. So we hope that you can help us. Xianxia wanted to help Mu Qiqi, but Mu Qiqi said, okay, I got it. Are you sure? Chapter 607. Then I'll go with you, Xianxia said excitedly. Xianxia said excitedly. She was really happy because she had reached a new consensus with that man last night. Are you in a good mood today? Xianxia glanced at someone in the police station and nodded. Not bad. It seems that Officer Tang is very pleasing to you. Mu Qiqi smiled too. In front of outsiders, one was the captain of the criminal investigation team, and the other was an assistant. Their worlds seemed to overlap, but there was a gap in their identities. Moreover, Tang Yan was cold to women, so the people in the police station did not associate them together. Soon they went out to the field with the seniors. Not long after, Mu Qiqi was brought to Yi Jingqing's office. Qiqi, this is the place. Mu Qiqi nodded and took a deep breath to calm herself down. Then she knocked on the door of Yi Jingqing's office. Come in. Mu Qiqi pushed the door open and walked in. She did not bring any other police officers with her. She walked to Yi Jingqing's desk alone. Can I bother you for a while? Yi Jingqing stopped what he was doing and looked at Mu Qiqi. He nodded with a smile. Of course. Brother Jingqing, did the police investigation cause you any inconvenience? Not really, Yi Jingqing replied. Then can you please cooperate with the police? After all, solving this case quickly can restore peace to Yi Holdings as soon as possible. Then won't the time I see you be greatly reduced? Yi Jingqing smiled deeply. I was deceived by my parents when I went abroad for a few years. They said that you and your sister are living a happy life and don't need me to disturb you. So I did not contact Tongxue for a few years. But now that I'm back, I can't find her. Do you know where she is? He was still so strange. Since you have been to the Mu family, you should know that a lot of things happened between me and Mu Tongxue. I know. You even left her in the slums. Yi Jingqing continued to smile. His calm, cunning and sinister expression was exactly the same as when he was young. Since you know, why are you asking me for her? Mu Qiqi looked at Yi Jingqing deeply. After all, she was not someone who could be easily frightened. On the other hand, Yi Jingqing's impression of Mu Qiqi had changed a lot. At this moment, the girl who had been meek and submissive seemed to have ceased to exist. He knew that Xianxia was behind Mu Qiqi, but he did not know that Mu Qiqi herself had changed so much. You guys were the ones who dealt with him. If I don't ask you guys, who should I ask? Yi Jingqing raised an eyebrow. Tell me where Tongxue lives and I will cooperate with the police. Isn't this a win-win situation? I don't know where she is right now. Even if I knew, I wouldn't tell you. So you don't have to threaten me with the investigation. The police don't need you. On the contrary, I want to warn you that this matter hasn't been spread yet. Your Yi Group's stock hasn't been affected yet. However, it doesn't mean that it won't happen in the future. Qiqi, you have changed a lot. Yi Jingqing looked at Mu Qiqi in surprise. I thought you would be afraid when you saw me yesterday. Afraid? Mu Qiqi chuckled. Afraid of you? Shouldn't you be afraid of me? Mu Qiqi shook her head and smiled. In the beginning, I admit that I was a little afraid. But now, I understand that it's just because of the trauma when I was young. I don't need to be afraid of you now. Why should I be afraid of you? I heard that you were trained by Xianxia. Then show me what you are capable of. Let me see what kind of student the most famous man in Jianchuan teaches. You don't deserve to mention his name. Having said that, Mu Qiqi stood up from the chair. The two of them had an unpleasant conversation. Then Mu Qiqi walked out of Yi Jingqing's office and went to the entrance of Yi Group. How is it? The seniors came up to her immediately. Mu Qiqi shook her head. Don't count on him. He threatened me. Tang Yan's face darkened when he heard Mu Qiqi's words. He told the team, follow the procedure. Report when necessary. Tang Yan and Xianxia were the same kind of people. They were protective. Since Mu Qiqi was from the police station, she was under his protection. How could a forensic doctor be threatened? Did he think he was dead? Actually, there was another reason why he protected Mu Qiqi. She was Feng Xianxian's only friend. If she was bullied, not only would Xianxia not agree to it, Feng Xianxian would also feel bad. What did he threaten you with? Mu Tongshue's whereabouts, Mu Qiqi answered Feng Xianxian. Seems that he really likes Mu Tongxue. I don't think you should come to this damn place. I don't know what kind of trap the young master of the Yi family is going to set for you if you stay here to investigate the case. Feng Xianxian shrugged. Tang Yan glanced at Feng Xianxian and said to Mu Qiqi, she's right. If Yi Jingqing wants to deal with you, he will also deal with the police. This is not good for our investigation. You're wrong. If I don't appear here, he won't give you any clues. I thought it was because of your childhood bosom brother that your CEO Xing has a rival in love. I didn't expect him to ignore you at all. Mu Qiqi glanced at Feng Xianxian and said, you won't understand. Yi Jingqing wanted to know where Mu Tongxue was. There was no way. She never regretted sending Mu Tongxue there. After all, Mu Tongxue had done too many evil things. How about this? The victim's parents have arrived at Jianchuan just now. They are at the entrance of the police station now. Mu Qiqi, go back to the police station and ask the victim's parents about the situation. This is also part of the investigation, Tang Yan said. Okay. Mu Qiqi did not refuse. But just when Mu Qiqi turned around and walked toward the police car, she heard Feng Xianxian shouting, be careful. Then a flower pot fell beside Mu Qiqi's feet and was smashed into pieces. Everyone looked up at the Yi Holdings building but saw nothing. After all, it was dozens of floors high. Who would know which floor it was thrown from? But in fact, everyone knew that the flower pot was thrown at Mu Qiqi. If CEO Xing knows about this, Yi Jingqing's head will be smashed. Feng Xianxian snorted. I'll go with you. But when she left, she looked at Tang Yan meaningfully. Her meaning was self-evident. Try working for long hours if you dare. Try it if you don't know how to rest. Although Tang Yan did not say anything, he understood Feng Xianxian's threat. Last night, the two of them had agreed that she would take care of him and he would take care of her. Although he did not say it, he must have agreed in his heart. Chapter 608. On the way back, Feng Xianxian couldn't help but ask Mu Qiqi, "What's the grudge between you and that Yi guy?" Mu Qiqi snorted coldly and answered, "When I was young he teamed up with Mu Tongxue to bully me. Maybe I made Mu Tongxue disappear so he wants to take revenge for her." "Were you really that miserable when you were in the Mu family?" Mu Qiqi glared at Feng Xianxian. "Alright, I won't ask anymore." Feng Xianxian raised her hands in surrender. "But your man really contributed a lot to change you into this. Aren't you going to tell him about this?" It was impossible for her not to be angry when a flower pot fell on her head. But she wouldn't let Xianxia take revenge for such a small matter. Soon they arrived at the police station. When they saw the deceased's parents, they felt a little upset. That was because they were an elderly couple. The old man had a head full of white hair and a stooped figure. If the old couple knew that their grandson had passed away, how heartbroken would that be? "Ladies, a police officer told us to come to the police station for something. May I ask what happened to my son?" "Your son is Qing Yunfeng." "Yes. We're in our 40s and we only have one son. We dote on him a lot. If he did anything wrong, please forgive him. He's not a bad person." Mu Qiqi glanced at Feng Xianxian and said, "I don't like to deal with such cases." "Who doesn't like it?" Feng Xianxian said. Mu Qiqi even suspected that if the old couple knew that their son was gone, they would faint on the spot. On the other hand, Tang Yan went to look for Yi Jingqing personally. However, when Yi Jingqing saw Tang Yan, he was not polite at all. "Officer, why did you send Mu Qiqi away? I still want to reminisce more with Qiqi." Tang Yan turned around and looked at Yi Jingqing. His tone was businesslike. "Mr. Yi, you don't seem to have noticed that someone has lost his life in your building. Life is so fragile now." Yi Jingqing smiled. "Officer, I thought you should be used to it. I've also heard about what happened between you and Mu Qiqi. But I advise you not to attack Mu Qiqi so easily before you find what you want. Otherwise, the thing you care about might suffer 10 times more than what she suffered. What do you think?" Tang Yan said in a deep voice. Yi Jingqing suddenly stopped smiling and looked at Tang Yan coldly. "You can investigate the case but don't affect my business. The person died in the Yi group. As the leaders of the enterprise, you have an unshirkable responsibility. As for whether or not you are covering up for the murderer or anything else, I will personally come to you when I find out." "I never thought that such a handsome officer would be interested in protecting Mu Qiqi. That's my colleague." After that, Tang Yan walked around Yi Jingqing's office a few more times. "If I have any other questions, I will come again." Yi Jingqing didn't say anything else. He just made a welcoming gesture. Tang Yan walked out of Yi Jingqing's office and asked his subordinates, "How's the investigation going?" "There's a rope that hasn't been cleaned up on the rooftop. It should be the rope used to kidnap Qing Yunfeng that night. We have asked the professor to extract the DNA on it to see if it matches Qing Yunfeng's. Also, check if there are any fingerprints of the murderer." The people from Team A found out that Qing Yunfeng is a proactive and hardworking young man. He works hard and never makes enemies with others. Team B found out that Qing Yunfeng's department is planning to be promoted. It's very likely that Qing Yunfeng did it. So we don't know if it's because of competition. Speaking of which, we really have to say that the Yi family is really a ruthless enterprise. It takes a long time and it's tiring. They don't even treat people as human beings. Go and investigate the employees who are competing with Qing Yunfeng. The rest of you follow me back to the police station, Tang Yan ordered. As for Yi Jingqing, he was a bit of a hindrance. Since it was a personal grudge, he felt that this matter could be solved through private channels. They got into the police car. Tang Yan sat in the back and closed his eyes. When the others saw this, they couldn't help but say, "Captain Tang, why don't you go home and rest? We will continue to follow up. We will report to you in detail if there's any progress." "I will go back to the police station to rest. You guys continue." Tang Yan nodded. When the others saw that he agreed to rest, they were a little surprised. After all, Tang Yan was a famous workaholic ever since he came to the police station. But now he was willing to rest? His teammates didn't know that Tang Yan was injured. They thought that his investigation was going smoothly. Besides, they were all men, so they didn't notice how ugly Tang Yan's face was. When they returned to the police station, the old couple was still crying in the morgue. Mu Qiqi and Feng Xianxian were helpless. But Tang Yan said, "You can't even handle such a small matter. Go out and let me handle it." Feng Xianxian rolled her eyes. It didn't matter. However, 5 minutes after she and Mu Qiqi left, the old couple was comforted by Tang Yen. Then he handed them over to the others. Where are you going? Feng Xianxian saw him leaving the morgue and quickly asked. Wasn't he halfway done? Rest. Tang Yen only replied with 2 words. Feng Xianxian almost laughed out loud. Because only she knew that Tang Yen was being obedient. However, after going to the restroom, Tang Yen still planned to call someone. That was Mu Qiqi's family. He had never seen how smart the most famous man in Jianchuan was. When he received Tang Yan's call, Xianxia had just finished a video conference. Seeing that it was an unfamiliar call, he waited until it rang 3 times before officially picking up. I'm Xianxia. I'm Tang Yan. When he heard Tang Yan's name, Xianxia knew who the person was. However, it was strange that the call was actually on his phone. Is it about the Yi family? Xianxia asked Tang Yan directly. Chief Xing, you really live up to your name. Mu Qiqi was almost hit by a flower pot today. He is full of hostility toward her. He seems to be looking for someone. Do you know Chief Xing? Captain Tang, you can even get my phone number without asking. How can you not know what Yi is looking for? Xianxia chuckled. The 2 men seemed to have a strong aura. Are you here to remind me that you're tuning in to the Zhou Xian's Legacy YouTube channel? Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.